Last time on Square Roots, Sue and Puff Puff stopped by the Seagull restaurant, observed the harmony between Moge and humans, and are nearly trampled by Justin and Fina's children. The people of the old world live in harmony, nature is restored, and our adventures in Grandia are over. Or are they?
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zandt.
You promised me we'd never play a Grandia game again, you son of a bitch.
Johnny, Grandia Pile, Brandon.
If you use drugs, you're going to hell before you die. Please.
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs one chunker at a time, and it's time for Grandia II.
Whoa.
Yay! We're going back to Grandia, guys. Grandia's a franchise that we love on this show. We love Grandia.
Sure.
What is Grandia?
That's a great question that I also would like an answer to.
I think the games are unrelated. I think it's just a word that sounds cool.
Right.
Cool
Like
according
True
to whom?
Detective?
Like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like a Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like a Digital Devil Saga.
Yeah.
Like a...
So Puff Puff is not in this.
Well, I don't know. Is it...
You do get a cute little mascot character, but it's not in the party, and you kind of barely run into it. We'll see it in the next chunk.
Isn't it the gay bird?
It's not
Yeah.
Gay Bird?
No, it's not the gay bird.
I think
Okay.
Gay Bird
You know, the
is a
bird
Puff
doesn't
Puff.
do anything in combat. That is we'll talk about it later.
What's the bird going to do something in combat?
He's just
Bird.
going to, critique your outfits. Oh, you're wearing that to the battle. Nice.
Again.
Do you guys have any hot gaming news you would like to share?
Try swinging
do.
your sword, not just flailing it around, big guy.
Vanessa, what's your hot gaming news?
I have some great news, actually. If you were wondering what you could do to celebrate Halloween this year in 2025,
Oh, no.
I got some news for you. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is going to be released in October. That's right. They had said first half of 2025, but then they sat down and they thought, you know what? Let's give people a real treat. Nobody wants to play this game in the summer. They want to play it in spooky October times. So we can all look forward to that coming out in October. When
I do think
Can
we're
I-
all
can I-
looking forward to your October being ruined.
Yeah, can I correct your statement? It should be when the game is ostensibly released in October. This is what I think the third delay. It was supposed to come out in 2024, wasn't it? Like
You know
November
what?
of 2024?
You say delay, I say reschedule. Is it really
Yeah.
a delay when they choose the perfect time, the perfect year, the perfect month, the perfect occasion for me to receive the $10 that you have promised to pay me when that game is released? I'm gonna
You
spend
and I
it-
both know that game is never coming out.
gonna
We
spend
don't call
on
it a
Halloween
delay,
costumes,
Jim.
Halloween
That
activities.
is probably that's going to come out that it's one of the more complex money laundering operations in the United States. Who's paying for this game?
You know what? As much as I
that's a
look
good
forward
question.
to playing that game, I would look forward equally as much to an expose documentary about how it was money. I would
Yeah,
love that.
what is going on with this Vampire the Masquerade game? It's been in development for a long time.
We don't call it a delay, Jim. It just needs a little more time in the oven. When your ravioli lasagna isn't ready yet, do you say delay or do you say it just needs a little more time?
He says delay. It's very... very rude to Amanda, who is cooking. Oh, nice delay.
Why is my dinner delayed?
Delayed again. Dinner's never coming out.
I've got some
I'm
hot.
not going to give you $10.
I've got some hot gaming news.
Yeah,
What is it?
Samsung is releasing a new monitor, and this is 2025. This is news. Glasses-free 3D gaming
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, lenticular displays.
Finally.
Does anything support that now? Like, are they even making? Would any game work with
Did
this?
they ever? Did they? Were there ever 3D games?
Yeah,
I can't think of
like-
any. Like what?
For the PS3 and 360, there were several 3D compatible games. Like, Killzone 3 had a 3D mode. Call of Duty
I remember that.
Black Ops 2 had a 3D mode.
Oh,
I've
I do
played
remember
both of
that.
them with the PlayStation Move gun controller thing. You know, where you put the Move into like a thing on a 3D
Yeah.
TV with glass. That was a glasses TV with 3D.
I just had to stop myself because I was like, remember 3D TVs? Like, what idiot would put on glasses to like watch TV in their home? And then I was like, oh, I have a VR thing that's just like right around. It's hanging next to my TV.
No, I dated a guy who had a 3D. He was just obsessed with technology stuff like that. But you know what? Screw this piece of crap monitor. I'm gonna go for this. No, I'm not. I like a super wide monitor. I'm keeping it. So that's my hot gaming news. Somehow in 2025, someone's still trying to make 3D monitors a thing, and you know what, Samsung?
Yeah.
Go for
There's
it.
like
Live
one
your
guy
dreams,
in the
sweetie.
basement of Samsung's R&D building who's been the only person toiling away on this for the last 15 years, and he finally cracked it.
I think there is a car that had a lenticular display for its gauges, like, you know, virtual gauges that were 3D. I feel like that's
I remember that.
dangerous.
It doesn't
Yeah.
sound good. But does anyone really enjoy like looking at 3D things?
Yes. Have you seen how much I love my 3DS and VR?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It
So-
always makes my head hurt eventually.
I was literally playing 3DS in bed last night. I was playing Animal Crossing. It was great.
That's
I like
adorable.
VR. I like VR a lot.
So, yes.
I'm a purist. I play all of the games for our show on the original Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah, he's got a CRT, like one of mine, a 13-inch CRT.
It was hard to get Final Fantasy Rebirth to work, but I made it happen.
You could do, and you had to reprogram an NES remake of it yourself.
Yeah, and it came in 2,000 different cartridges.
Oh man, that did
Adam
unlock a sense memory
Fall!
of like when you get a new game and it has 6 discs and you're like, this game must
Yeah.
be amazing.
So Adam Fall,
and then the game is Final Fantasy VIII, and you're like, oh.
Adam Fall is like, is that like a Fallout, like a sort of spiritual successor? What is that?
Yeah, it does. It does look like
yeah.
another. What do we call those?
Immersive sim, open world
immersive
RPG.
sims.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what you're getting at. Which one?
It looks like
Both of
it
those.
looks like an immersive. Yeah, it looks just like that. Which it looks like a Fallout version to me, and maybe just because like I've got fresh Avowed on the brain, but it looks like a Fallout version of Avowed, kind of.
Ooh, Vanessa,
And,
this is going to be on
We
Game
already
Pass.
have that. It's called Outer Worlds.
It looks like Outer Worlds. It looks like a British Fallout version of
British,
Outer
Vanessa.
Worlds.
It's a British,
British.
Dishonored style Fallout game.
Keep talking.
And it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game
And
Pass.
it's on Game Pass.
You've got my attention.
Tim Key plays every character.
They say this is real news. They say the game can be finished in around 20 to 25 hours. A nice, tight little RPG campaign.
Tim Key will say, "I love you, Vanessa," if you put Vanessa as your character's name.
That's great. Everyone knows that Tim Key is my number one celebrity crush, and
I don't
voice every character,
understand
every
who
game.
your celebrity crushes really are, Vanessa. I hate to admit this. I've been wrong every
What
time.
are you talking about? I just told you.
There's Floopy Boyenden. She loves Floopy
Yeah.
Boyenden.
I love Floopy Boynden. I love
Sir Puddlesworth the Third, Esquire,
yeah,
CPA.
educated
David Bowie.
and well-bred. David Bowie. And Grundle.
Oh. From that old myth there. What was that thing called?
Grendel?
Yeah, Grindel's from that
Beowulf.
Beowulf, yeah.
I thought she said Grundle.
I did.
Oh, Grundle. Okay, I don't know who Grundle is.
Well, and Danny, of course.
Y'all should Google Grundle. and really
Matt,
get on
Danny
board
was
with it.
last episode.
But I want to keep doing Danny stuff. It's
No,
fun.
Danny's over. Danny might show up in one of my in my Saints Row video though. There's a lot of drugs.
So it's okay
in
for
that.
you to keep doing it, but not me.
Well, but this is the pod. We already had a Danny episode
Hey,
of the podcast.
it's Johnny's turn to milk it, okay?
You can't milk
Milk
Danny.
That's a good point. Instead, Vanessa and I are going to do Gospel Duck this week.
What?
Yeah. I have to be a duck for Jesus.
Oh, I've got a question for you.
Ducky for the Lord. Yeah.
There ever a Disney like Halloween thing that had that song that's like ha 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 ho, 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 ho.
Is that the Dancing Skeletons one?
There was
Heroes in a Half Shell.
No. There's a Disney Halloween thing, which is one of my very favorite things, that goes trick or treat, trick or treat, trick or treat for Halloween.
I don't think it's that.
No, I know what song you're referring to, but I can't think of any.
Do you? Because it
media
sounded
that
like an
utilizes
orangutan
it.
having an
I
orgasm
feel like
to me.
didn't
It's a very famous song.
didn't South Park yeah that one.
Ho, 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 ho. He, he, he,
Hey,
he, 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 he. Hey, hey.
You know that song?
Yeah.
What is that
everyone knows
song?
That song.
Is that a Disney thing? Is that
Not
or is
as
that
far
like
as I
a
know.
Dr. Demento? Something Dr. Demento would have
I
played in
think
the
it's more of a
70s?
Dr. Demento kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's
I have
Adam
some hot
Fall.
gaming news.
Next up in the hot gaming
That's Adam
news.
Fall, yeah. I have some hot gaming news, and it's that the Game Informer team, everyone who was there when GameStop owned it before they shit canned it, is back, and they have relaunched Game Informer.
has?
Which I believe is going to be print and digital. I was checking out their website today, and it said that if you sign up for their newsletter, you can get access to like their entire digital catalog of all the old magazines, which is pretty cool. And you'll be able to sign up for the new print version when that is when the release for that is announced. So that's cool. Game Informer, I remember reading a bunch of Game Informer magazines when I was a lad.
I have some because they kept coming to my door because I had a
They were just giving those things away.
well, yeah, if
back
you had
in,
the
like 2000s.
platinum card or whatever, yeah, you get the magazine.
Oh yeah, I remember there being like piles of those magazines on the counters at GameStop.
Man, I guess Xenoblade X Chronicles X, the remake that just came out, the definitive edition for the Switch, is not doing great. It's already discounted, which is pretty rare for a
Like just not selling well.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I want to get it, but I also don't want to spend money on video games right now. Because
Yeah, I told myself that the next game I was gonna buy full price was gonna be Claire Obscure Expedition 33, but that game's gonna be on Game Pass, I think.
oh,
So I don't even. But like, I might buy it just so I can stream it. Maybe I don't know.
You can't stream Game Pass games?
I guess I mean if it's on PC Game Pass, I could stream it then. That's how I streamed Avowed.
Oh, I see
Like-
what you mean, yeah.
do you know what game
Yeah.
is performing well? It's already sold like 2 million copies.
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah, people like it.
Like, Good for them. It like I was watching some gameplay
cool.
videos of it last night, and it looks pretty good. It looks like very Ghost of Tsushima,
Which rocked.
is pretty cool. Yeah, but like with Assassin's Creed stuff thrown in, it looked pretty cool actually.
Yeah, I also am interested in that one. Now, I haven't played an Assassin's Creed in quite some time, so I don't think it's something that I'll buy full price anytime soon. But if it pops up on Game Pass or drops to a reasonable price in a year, I'll check it out. It's the best you're getting out of me, Assassin's Creed franchise.
Vanessa, you're the resident Assassin's Creed top assassin.
That's
How do
right.
you feel? Are you excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows?
Well, yes, I am. I enjoyed the last two, do we want to say?
Valhalla and Odyssey?
Yeah, Odyssey and Valhalla. I think most
Did you
of
play
any of
Origins?
us. I didn't play Fortunes.
Origins.
Origins.
The Egypt
I
one.
think the last one I played was Syndicate, which was like
Oh, I
back
really-
in
I like that
2010
one.
10 or 11.
That's
Is
the
that
one with the brother and
uh,
sister.
Egyptian one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a
No, Origin
Yeah.
is, yeah.
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 I tried Origins. I didn't connect with it as well because I really, in my assassin game, I want to play a lady assassin. I don't
Oh,
want to
yeah,
be a
I don't think
man
you-
killing
yeah.
men. I want to be a woman killing men. And
Which is
How do you
weird
feel-
because
you can
there's
go
a
to your
woman
psychologist and ask them
assassin.
why.
There's a woman assassin who has the same relationship with like the revenge plot as you do, and it seems like they could have easily made it either character.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Shadows and its dual protagonists, male-female protagonists?
I'm willing to give it a try, you know? I don't begrudge men being in the world or even assassinating people.
Oh.
But I just want my own assassinations to be done by a woman. It feels more personal to me.
I get it. You're a misandrist.
Yeah, of course.
That's not.
Yeah,
a thing.
all the right-wing chuds are really upset about Assassin's Creed Shadows doing well.
Oh, did you see the Assassin's
there's
Creed
a lot of grumble.
chat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a news story. So Elon Musk and that shithead who Grums, who used to be a Blizzard. That's the guy who used to be a Blizzard guy, right?
I believe so, yes.
We're saying how it's not, even though it's sold 2 million copies, it's obviously not performing as well as Valhalla when a game that came out right when the new systems came out. And what was it that they said to Elon Musk? Something like, it's the guy who played Path of Exile 2 for you telling you all this.
I saw that. I think the version of that I saw was that I think Hassan, is that his name? Jim likes him.
Yeah.
Which
Hassan Piker.
was talking up Assassin's Creed Shadow, and
Yeah, that's
somebody was like, "Oh, you can tell that he's being paid to like this game." And the Assassin's Creed Twitter account came in and said, "Is this what the guy who played whatever for you said?"
Zing. And
Yeah,
also
that is
to
a burn.
the ex-Blizzard guy, our game's actually out.
Yeah. Like it seems counterintuitive to like root for Ubisoft because they seem like such a terrible company.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of
it's
bad
good to
people there.
see. Yeah, but it's good to see a game.
In the management.
I like seeing people like a game. I'm glad it's a hit with people. I like it.
Like Michael Reparaz, who was on our show once, I think. I've been on his show a couple of times. He works for Ubisoft. He's a good guy. My friend Max works for Ubisoft, and he's a good guy. But Max? You're Max?
It could be.
Max Load.
Oh,
Remember that joke I made earlier today
Yeah,
about
that
Max
was
Load?
That was a really good joke.
hot
I
name.
remember when Jim was like, "Ha, fat joke about Matt." That's what happens in the chat.
I didn't call you Max. I mean, I just did, but I didn't earlier.
No, earlier he was saying that would be his Leisure Suit Larry name.
Oh.
Yeah. Matt said that like chairs, because he was buying a chair today, that chairs have a max load, and I said Max Load would be a good character name for a character in something.
Zing.
But I didn't say
It's not
Matt's
really a
name should be
zing,
Max
actually,
Load.
come to think of
It's
it.
not just an observation.
What's the deal with Matt? All right, let's let's move on because we have some plugs to talk about, I think, and then we got to talk about this hot new game we're playing.
Hot new game. HNG instead of HGN. So there is a stream. This past week, Vanessa and I streamed her mystery game, which was Journeyman Chronicles 3?
And Matt was maybe there? We don't know.
Matt Navy was there. Is that what it's called, Vanessa?
I can't believe you already forgot what it's called. I mean...
I already forgot.
The Journeyman Chronic Project
stream.
3.
I got-
Time stream shenanigans.
I got 2 out of 3 words
close
right,
was I?
Vanessa.
Rate my fit of words.
It was Journeyman something 3, right?
Journeyman something free, something time. It was a great stream. We had a really good time. Johnny cried. Just big Johnny tears running down his face. He was
We're
so
going to have
moved by
to
this
edit
game.
out all
Yeah.
the racist stuff Vanessa said during that stream, but...
It's hard to edit a live stream, but that's what we have the button for. We have a 5-second delay, and you just...
No, there-
Well, that's where your Patreon money goes. We have someone furiously editing the live stream as it's coming out.
Remember when I accidentally turned my camera on and I was just standing there naked? That was so embarrassing.
Accident. Come on. You and Louie.
Yeah, I was going
Happened
to
to
say.
be cranking my hog right in front of my camera.
That would
This
be
is what
so
you have to see
embarrassing.
to be successful in comedy.
I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Do you think he was doing bits the whole time?
Yeah, he was like, my self-esteem really took a hit recently, but I don't know what his stuff was about.
Wasn't
It
his
was
stand-up
mostly
like,
about
my
what a depressed
kids
piece
suck.
of shit he was.
Yeah, my kids
His
are
comedy
fucking
was
terrible.
mostly like, I'm a real depressed piece of shit, and then real life stories came out, and it's I've said this before, I think, but it's like suddenly you're like, oh, that's not funny. That's just an accurate portrayal of you and who you are as a person. And suddenly they stop being funny. It's not cancel culture. It's I can't fucking stand you anymore culture. We should call it recontextualizing culture, All of your jokes have been recontextualized to no longer be funny. It's not my fault.
It's called the Jimmy
Ooh,
Savile
I
effect.
can confirm that the Game Informer newsletter sign up is working.
All
Oh,
right.
Do you want to sign up for Game Informer?
I don't.
Informer. They'll do the same for you. Wopsy doody wop.
Game
Okay.
Informer was the IGN of the 90s, am I right, guys?
Oh man,
super.
their last cover game before like GameStop tanked them was the casting of Frank Stone.
Ooh.
Oh,
Did that ever come
was like-
out?
That was like 2 months ago.
2 months ago, that game came out last year. I played it for a little bit on stream.
Okay, it was less than a year ago.
I just feel like if you're gonna revive a magazine, why not like one like EGM that was good?
Why not Game Pro?
Oh, because that
like-
GamePro
EGM
always
was my
was trash, Matt.
Yeah, Game
all
Pro is
trash,
always
John.
trash.
No,
Game
they aren't.
Informer was just a fucking ad.
Well, hey, EGM though, that was pretty good.
What about,
EGM was my hands down favorite.
I'll tell you what my favorite was if I can remember the name. It was what Johnny will remember it. It was
Die Hard Game Fan?
PC Gamer.
Oh,
Gaming.
Yeah, PC Gamer.
PC Gamer.
Yeah.
I was
PC
a big
Gamer's still a thing.
PC
PC
nerd
Gamer's
in the
still a
days
thing.
when I was buying game magazines, and I fucking loved.
Remember
PC
when
Gamer.
each issue of PC Gamer was
John.
like 300 pages?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that came with
and
these
it had
big
like
demo
you would
CDs.
shake it. You would shake it, and like CDs and a bunch of like postcard mailer things would fall out of it. John, I think EGM has a Kickstarter going or a GoFundMe happening right now for like reviving that publication. I think that's a thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Didn't they get bought by? I can't remember what the name was at the
Like
time.
Future?
Was it Ziff?
Or Ziff Davis? I can't remember.
Ziff Davis or something?
Yeah.
It was one of those like e-publishing conglomerates that ruined every publication ever.
I think Edge, you can still get a subscription to Edge magazine, right? The English one. They always have their like very deliberately
here.
controversial. Yeah, it's an English magazine though. They have their
I don't know that I've heard of that.
deliberately controversial reviews are like Bioshock 7. You know, like that kind of stuff. They're always
like contrarian.
yeah, they're
reviews
very
to-
contrarian and idiosyncratic. It was a very weird magazine, but it's well written. My favorite magazine in the late 90s was Next Generation magazine. Like that was all focused on the new consoles, and
I remember that.
that one was just really well written and just like not for kids. It was more aimed at grown-ups, but not in like a sleazy Maxim way.
EGM was the first magazine. It was the first thing I remember reading regularly where without reading the byline, I could tell which writer wrote which article. Like they had such well-defined voices, like their Dan Su and I can't remember all the writers, but I could tell. Yeah, Sushi X. I could tell who wrote what article just based on how they wrote it. I read that magazine a lot.
Was that Ed Semrad? Was he the... I don't remember.
What does this have to do with our plugs for our
Anyway,
streams?
so we have streams. We have our current one going there, and it's about Journeyman something time 3.
Journeyman Project 3 Legacy of Time.
Right. The Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver.
Yeah, there's tons of cool older live streams on there too. We actually stream on the Square Roots channel every Wednesday night. Journeyman Project 3 Legacy of Time is the most recent game to be streamed, but I recently finished a playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 2, which was really fun. Matt's played Final Fantasy 6. Johnny's played Phantasy Star.
I was thinking about
there's-
restructuring
for some reason.
our channel, like so that we should make playlists for each game. Okay.
Don't we have that?
No. Not anymore. I haven't done that.
I
in
have.
months.
I know I have a handful of random streams on there. I'll just jump on and stream something.
Yeah, but I mean, we could make playlists, and stuff like
I
organize.
usually add our streams to an individual playlist for each one. But I don't
okay.
think I did it for Kingdom Hearts 2. I kind of forgot about it. I'll check it out next time we stream.
Yeah,
But most of the older ones should already be in their own playlists.
So the question I was going to ask is, for the episodes that come out, the ones that people are watching, or like 3 people, Peter Tapio, Artie, and Ron. They're the ones that watch the podcast on there. I was wondering if they should come out or we should make them unlisted after a week so our channel's not clogged with just audio videos. But I don't know. But what do you think, Mr. SEO, Matt? Wait, Mr. SEO's Jim. Jim?
I know something.
We are
Isn't
distinct
there a way
people.
to like categorize the videos on your stream so you can have like podcast episodes and you can have live
we could put them
streams
into
and things like
different playlists for sure.
that. Yeah, just do that. Just do that.
Sorry for
You
mixing
can
up
also
Matt and Jim.
categorize them. I think playlists and like categories are different.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, there's also Bears and Games Neo, Vanessa's new channel. See, I'm messing it up on purpose now because I feel bad.
No, it was good and it was really natural and it's really believable that you would think that all of the hours you put into making Bears and Games Neo was actually me and I did it.
That's
Get it,
true.
Vanessa.
I'm working on. I think I'm getting towards the end of the script. I don't know. This is gonna be a long one, and I'm talking about Saints Row, and I'm talking about Saints Row 2022. And is it better than Saints Row the Third? Is the big question that this video is going to answer, and I don't know yet because I haven't put down everything into numbers, and then I'll find out. So stay tuned. Update your subscription. Make sure you've got notifications on. Ring that bell. That bell is attached to a device somewhere in my body. Every time someone subscribes and gets notifications, I get a twinge of pleasure.
All right. Well, so those are the streams. That was probably one of the worst plugs in the history of plugs. But you know what?
Yep,
If you
I
listen
got
to
the
this
host
show,
names wrong.
You already
We
know what's
talked about
happening.
IGN and EGM.
Yeah.
IGN.
All right,
I
Gamer
don't think Matt
Gator.
actually listens anymore, so you know what? Like, I'm intentionally trying to annoy one of our listeners who I don't think listens to the show.
Aw.
Just hangs out in our Discord and chit chats.
I don't mind.
Hey, what are we gonna call the quest log this season?
I feel like it should be called the quest log. This is
Okay.
like
I like that.
Classic.
classic JRPG, classic quest log.
So not like the Grandicles.
No. Not like the grand ass obituaries. No, grand ass.
Grandicles sounds
mission-
like an 80s cartoon that was made only to sell plush toys to small children.
What's the name? The Bible name for letters? There's a word that they call letters in the Bible. You
I
call
beg
it
your
that.
pardon. What?
In the Bible, there's a word for letters like Eucharist. No, I don't know. Don't worry about it.
Like the alphabet?
No, like written letters.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense.
I gotta look that up. Epistles.
Yeah, the grand ass epistles.
I don't want to call it that.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
neither do I, because we'll just fuck it up every week. It's the quest
Yeah.
log, and let's
We'll
start.
be Googling it every week.
Let's start this week's quest log. Insert music here. Bye. The fuck was that?
That was the music.
Let's start this week's quest log by asking ourselves a question we ask at the beginning of each season. What is your history with Grandia II? What are you playing it on? And that might be all the questions. Oh, I guess I'm going to start with Vanessa because she has her hands over her eyes.
I thought she was trying to make herself look awake.
No, I was pretending that my hands were a spider that descended onto my face.
Oh, that
and
makes
sat
sense.
on my forehead.
Beautiful.
I have played Grandia. I can't deny this because there's audio proof from when we played it for the show. I remember Puff Puff and Sue.
Was Sue the cow person?
No, Sue was the little girl that Puff Puff rode on. And that is my experience with Grandia and everything that I remember about the first game. This game I have never played, and I am playing it on the Switch. Johnny, what's your experience with this game?
I've never played it. I think my brother has it on Dreamcast, so I think I saw him play it one time, maybe. But I did look for a physical copy. I went to the game store by me, and it was $100 Canadian, or about $70 US plus tax. That was too much.
The physical Dreamcast version?
No, the physical Switch version.
Oh, got it.
And that's too much money. It was I guess it was a limited run game, like, you know, the company limited run. They only print a few thousand. It was a nice looking package and everything, but I'm not going to spend $100 on it. So I spent $50 plus tax on the just digital version. But that's fine. So that's and I've never played it before. Yeah, never. I'm a what's the word for it? Like a small kitten.
This has been
never
the
seen.
This has been the Johnny talks about how much money he spent on the game corner.
What?
I don't believe that's a question I asked, Johnny.
Okay, sorry, Matt.
And also, it's Baby Bird. Everybody knows that when you have never played it before, you're a baby bird.
Oh, and Matt's gonna feed the quest log to us through his mouth.
GM is going to feed the quest log to us through his mouth because, again,
And in
we're
the-
different people.
And in the last episode, he's gonna kick us out of the nest.
Tell us what happened.
Birds can't talk, Vanessa. You're only allowed to tweet if you're going to mimic the baby bird.
I'm
video
not allowed to
game.
tweet anymore. Twitter's canceled.
Matt, what's your
Chirp.
experience
You can
with
chirp.
Two Grand Two? Yeah.
Well, I've never played it either. I mean, of course, I played Grandia 1. I remember it quite well. I played the whole game, and it was not my favorite, but I finished it for sure.
We just got the printout back, and it looks like you're lying.
Am I hooked up to a fucking lie detector?
Yeah.
Is that what these needles poking out of my veins are?
They aren't
Is that
needles.
how lie detectors work? They stick needles in you?
They do not stick needles into you. It's not detecting lies in your bloodstream.
Is that why this tube is in my ass?
No. You should... Who put that in there? It was none of us.
you
I saw a
That was
great
already
meme
in there when
recently.
you got here.
I saw a great meme recently. I don't remember if I shared it with you guys. And it was basically just a picture of the pods from the Matrix, and it said, in retrospect, that pod thing doesn't seem so bad. You get goop, they feed you, and eventually they kill you. Sounds great. Sign me up. Anyway, I've not played Grandia 2. I am playing it on the Xbox. That's right. I'm a trendsetter. I'm doing things my own way. All right, well, it's not that exciting. It's just the most convenient system for me to play on these days. So I'm playing it on the Xbox, and we'll see. We'll see if this game sends me to fits of rage like Grandia 1 did.
I thought we sort of
What about
liked
you?
it in the end.
No, Matt stopped playing last time.
What are you talking about? I did
I'm gonna
not.
have to go back and re-listen to that series to see where we all ended up. I know I like Grandia. Like I have a lot of nostalgia for the first Grandia. But
John likes every game we play, so that's
I put it.
John didn't like Grandia.
I put it on the Grandia pile. Remember, of like it's fine.
John coined the term Grandia pile, which is like real middle of the road. It's fine, but forgettable. Like slop.
That was also when like a 40-hour game would take us 10 episodes to get through, and I wonder if I appear on even half of those episodes.
There was one delightful moment, and it was Darlin, the cow husband.
That's right, the cow husband.
I remember
yeah.
the cow husband.
Yeah.
Jim,
Wow.
Yeah.
what is your relationship to Grandia 2?
I
heard
was
Jim's
actually-
uncle that works for Nintendo actually worked on this game and sent
Oh,
him
wow.
a free copy.
I was in the middle of a playthrough of this game
And told me
when
about
I
a code
decided
to
to
take all the
nominate
ladies'
it for the
clothes
show.
off.
I decided to nominate it for the show because I was enjoying my playthrough so much, and it was my turn to pick a game. I was like, let's play Grandia 2 because I'm having a great time with it. So I was probably 3/4 of the way through the game, I think. But I did start a new playthrough for our series. But I'd never played this game before, and I love Grandia 1. But I never played Grandia 2. I know it was one of those really well-received Dreamcast RPGs, but I think it was around like 99, between 99 and 2000. I think it's like a handful of JRPGs came out on the Dreamcast that people really loved. And this is one of them. So I'd always wanted to play it, never had until a few months ago when I grabbed it on a Steam sale and played it on my Steam Deck. And it really hit. Like, it's a fun game. So I'm excited that we're playing it for the show.
So for this chunker, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I was a little intoxicated when I played through the entire game, or not this entire chunker, and I was so excited about remembering things. And I was like, you ever like, I don't know if you've ever been intoxicated and be like, you need to remember what just happened. You need to remember. I remember saying that to myself, but I don't remember about what.
Oh.
And then also the music in the tower. I was like, this is the greatest video game music I've ever heard in my life.
I had a similar moment the other night where I had maybe taken a couple gummies, and then Amanda had asked me for some help with something, and I had just finished a Grandia 2 battle, and so the victory music was playing, and I just set my Steam Deck down, and I could still hear the music, and it was just looping over and over, and I was like, oh, this music is so good.
I don't know if it's the same music that we're talking about here, but there is some music in this with like an organ that I legitimately thought was fantastic.
No, like I went back and listened. At least I recorded everything I did, so I went back and like went through my gaming. I did get stuck in like a narrow hallway for a while. It was kind of entertaining to watch me try to figure out where I was supposed to be going.
Yeah, that's my one complaint so far. The camera is real bad,
I just swing it around.
but it's not as bad as Grandia 1's was.
Yep. I already feel less annoyed.
I remember the camera was bad. Weren't the levels like huge as well? I remember a lot of dead
They were.
space.
They were real big.
It's all coming back to me now.
Grandia, gimme the bird because I'm gonna fly it. All right.
Yeah, let's talk about how the game opens. So there's a whole big cutscene at the beginning of this game, which is like there's a big star that's ramming into a black hand in the sky, which is supposed to like symbolize, the battle between light and darkness. And then they clash, and it causes a big like scar in the earth, and there's a big fissure, and then there's like the title card where it says Grandia II. And it opens on Ryudo, who is our hero.
Connor keeps slipping $1 under my door, or rather through the crack of my door, because he wants to spend $1 in Roblox on my credit card. He keeps reappearing in my door.
That's amazing.
Do you want to? What
I
can
can
you
hear
get
it. I
for
hear
$1
like
on
shimmy,
Roblox?
shimmy, shimmy,
Be like-
shimmy.
Can you get a skin for that? What's $1 get you on Roblox nowadays?
I don't know.
Could be like a game
Yeah,
mode,
he wants a
right?
skin. He wants
Oh,
a
okay.
skin.
Wow, skins in PUBG are like $20.
No, the pass is only $5 these days.
Oh, that's good, because they were ridiculous before.
Oh no, they do still have the you can spend $20 on this piece of shit.
Yeah. So the game opens. There's some alligator men that are. I don't remember what the impetus is here. If they have stolen something or they have something.
Well,
that,
it's kind of wordless for a second, right? Like you see these people
Yeah.
running away from the alligator men, and the alligator men are running after them, and then you drop down like the coolest man, you being Ryudo.
Ryudo. Yeah.
He's so cool.
He's super cool. He's got a bandana. He's wearing a cool backpack. He has a big sword.
So he
Not like Cloud big, but big, noticeably big.
and he
sword.
does some great like
I don't agree with that at all. It seems like a normal ass sword.
I also don't agree that he's cool or a hero. This guy sucks. I mean, we'll get to it.
He is a
but-
fucking dick.
Oh, I know. I was
dick.
It was a bit, Vanessa.
Which
it was a bit.
he is a dick, which I do think makes him cool. So
I mean, there's
He-
nothing cooler than being really rude and unpleasant to other people. I've always said so.
He sucks.
No,
He
he's like a
says
weird
some mean
loner.
shit in this chunker. He says some stuff. Like I was replaying it last night. The latter half of this chunker, the stuff he says to Elena, I was like, that is fucking mean.
He reminds me of
mean.
like that kind of Dennis Miller asshole boomer comedy that was really popular in the late 80s to all of the 1990s. Like just being a real piece of shit, and being like,
Yeah, it's like what Bill Maher is doing now.
yes.
all right. Let's all take a deep breath, please. This is the first 2 minutes of the game. He's clearly gonna go on a fucking journey and like a character.
Yeah, no, I do know. I was going to say that, Matt. It's like, obviously, he's going to chill out. He's going to have, like, what's the name of Tailboy? Zidane. He's going to have a Zidane arc, right?
Zidane, yeah, he's
A Zidane
a
arc.
little. He's more. Zidane is more sexual harassy, and he's just more like being a dick.
Yeah.
Well, so the
He's
game
more
opens with
bitter
these like
incel.
two groups silently nodding at each other. I'm going through my archive footage of it now,
Yeah, and we don't know who they are or what their deal is.
and it's a long,
in the, like,
silent
opening cutscene,
Yeah, it's a
you mean?
long silent cutscene, and
Yeah.
one of them's, I think you find out, Elena, who does have weird tentacle bells coming out of her dress, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But so these two groups, and one is like a group of girls in pretty priest outfits. You see them walk for about 5 minutes, and then a bird flies under them with balls. I'm just watching it
What?
now.
I think they're like bombs or firecrackers, maybe.
Oh, is that? Yeah, I thought they were like those giant prayer beads. And then cool Ryudo is talking to Sky, saying, "Don't let me down," as he scales down a mountain and the lizard men's attack.
Ryudo's so cool.
Yeah, he's just like, I love how awesome he is to women and everybody.
Yeah.
Can we talk? So Ryudo defeats a crocodile man, and then he flies away on his eagle or falcon. Is this a falcon or an
It's
eagle?
a falcon.
It's a but he doesn't.
Falcon drops some bombs which distract the crocodile men, and most of them run into the forest, and then Ryudo drops down and basically assassinates this guy.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So that's what I was getting to, actually, because fast forward, Ryudo falls in the forest, and
Well, because the lizard men are
Sky
coming back,
stops him.
and he, in the nick of time, Sky grabs him, and then he looks so cool. I do like. What do you think of the looks of the models? I think they do have a kind of Final Fantasy VII charm to them.
It looks great. It looks great, and this whole game so far makes me like desperately nostalgic for the PS1 era. In fact, kind of more so than the actual PS1 era, because it's all HD up-resed, so my eyeballs can translate what it is, as opposed to in the actual PS1 era, where I was just like, this is a digital mess.
Yeah, I think like this game is a really good fusion of like the game art style, which was basically what Grandia 1 was, very game art. Like this is the developer of this game is Game Arts, and they have a very specific style, this really kind of bright anime style.
And they also did Lunar.
Yes, yeah, they did Lunar too. So this is a really good fusion of like the PS1 Final Fantasy VII graphics and that game art style, and I think it just looks really good. Like all the character models are detailed just enough to where you can tell like what each piece of like a character model is, and they move in interesting ways, but like it's not overly detailed, or it's not trying to be like super 3D.
Right.
It just looks good.
Now Ryudo does have a bunch of buckles on his shoes. Like, it has so many buckles.
His backpack has a lot of buckles too.
Yeah, he's wearing like, I would say almost a what's the name of the guy who does all the buckles?
Sora?
Leon?
No, well, the designer. Final
Nomura?
Jim Lee
Nomura.
or...
Nomura.
I thought you
was
meant
thinking
a fashion
pouches and
designer.
buckles.
I was like raking my mind.
Who's the guy that created Deadpool? What's his name? I know it.
Rob
Rob Lowe, yeah.
Liefeld?
Buckles and pouches. Rob Liefeld.
Rob
Lowe.
Liefeld.
Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee. Yeah, this is a very 90s comic book style.
I did show. I was out with my friend Brett on Sunday, and I did show him the 1989 Oscar fiasco with Rob Lowe and Snow White.
Oh, it's so good. I mean,
Yeah.
which I mean so bad.
It is terrible.
Since we're describing Ryudo, we're looking at his actual character portrait and not just the game model. And
Yeah.
can somebody explain to me what's going on with his belts?
It looks like he's wearing like
I believe it's a ring, and it's in a very specific part of his body, over a very specific part of his body. And the belts seem to be holding it in place there. What would you call that?
It looks like he's wearing like a belt diaper.
Well, no, that's a harness. So it's a dick harness, and sometimes you cannot. Your tumescent is a little soft. So if you want to get more tumescent, you put on something that restricts the blood flow a little, and it engorges it.
If you look closely, you can see that there's also one in the back of his pants. So
And on his chest
I do see that.
with a butterfly.
Oh, maybe it's like maybe guys, get your minds out of the gutter.
He does
Maybe
have
it's
a
like
butterfly on his
maybe
chest
it's
like
a-
Superman's shield, which is a choice.
I like to think it's like he just really likes the band Crazy Town, and he likes that butterfly song.
What are the things on the side of his head? Are those goggles? And does he have
like a little
earrings,
helmet,
or are
I
those
think.
just pieces of paper hanging
It's
off of
Yeah,
his
I
ears?
think I think he has like his hair has grown around this like little helmet.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Chaz wore in Phantasy Star 4
Yes.
a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of a helmet, kind of a circlet. I'm watching myself now trying to navigate around the forest. Yeah. So you were hired by this guy and his daughter, or I don't. Should I say you? I was thinking about this in my script. I always say you.
It's not his daughter.
No,
I thought it was his daughter.
that
Tessa
one.
is his daughter.
Was that wasn't the priest though? It was this. There was just this old man who pays you for assassinating that.
Oh yes, you're
Lizard
right.
man.
Yeah, we go and collect our pay from the guy who apparently hired us to assassinate.
But he
this.
does not like
I
us.
guess.
So let's talk about that. People seem to look down on us because we are, as the game tells us 100 times in this first chunker, we are a geohound.
What?
Which, like, when I first heard that, and when I was playing this game a few months ago for the first time, I was like, "Is that like someone who looks for rocks?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that mean?"
Yeah,
No, it's
that's
like
my
a
question. What is a geohound? I'm not asking you in the context of the game. You've heard the word for the first time. What do you think that means?
It's like a
Someone
risk breaker.
Someone who's out looking for rocks.
I got you. I heard you, Jim.
I think it's
Johnny?
a dog made of rocks.
Yep,
Oh.
dog made a box. That also perfect.
I guess I'm
Perfect,
just
yeah.
taking. I just assumed it was going to be like in Vagrant Story. You're like a risk breaker, like Ashley Riot.
Honestly, I think it might be another word for like, and I don't mean this insensitively, unhoused person. I think that
What?
they're basically saying, like,
No.
you don't have a home.
No.
You're like a dog that lives out in the world.
And what's
I'm
the
sorry,
geo-
am I
Oh.
wrong? Have you been given the
Is
impression that he has a
is that
fucking
what
home?
Is that what you call homeless people?
Geohounds?
Dogs that live out in the world.
Geohounds.
Thought that their problem was with his profession, not his living situation. They seem upset that he's like a task rabbit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't like him.
He's just a guy
Why
that
would
gets
anybody be
hired
mad
to-
about a task rabbit?
How people are assholes. Everyone's an asshole in this game.
Yeah.
Well, this is like everyone in this world is very religious. Like everyone's like an evangelical.
You know who's
someone
not?
who's just a jobber trying to get by, like they're just looked down upon.
You know who's not
So,
evangelical? Sky the gay bird.
Yeah, let's talk
yeah.
about Sky. Because when we get the opening scene, did you mention how we fly away and get dropped in the woods like an asshole?
Yeah.
yeah.
So we have a talking bird. His name is Sky, and he is. I mean, I'm just gonna say what Johnny said. He's just a big, loud, gay personality of a bird that hangs around and is basically mean to Ryudo.
Yeah,
To
he
the point
negs
that I
Ryudo
kind
a
of get
lot.
why Ryudo is such a bitter asshole. Like,
But
I would
maybe
be
that's
too if I had
the,
something literally sitting on my shoulder, whispering into my ear, like, "You're a real piece of shit."
maybe
You know
that's
that?
the only type of person who can stand Ryudo enough to be his friend, though.
Do you think that Sky isn't even real? Like Ryudo's the only one who can see it.
I would if
it's
one of
like
the
a-
first things we see him do isn't fly Ryudo around.
Yeah.
Unless, do you think Ryudo has secret fly powers?
I feel like I should warn you guys. Enjoy Ryudo talking now, because later in the game, I think the writers just forgot that he existed because he just totally stops talking and never returns.
I
boy.
think it's more of a Jiminy Cricket kind of situation.
Oh,
Oh, I see. Where he's like his
his
conscience
gay
Yeah.
conscience.
himself.
Now it's starting to sound a lot like my own conscience. You're a real piece of shit, you know that? But you fuck off. These people hate you.
Your conscience is gay.
Yeah,
while
he's like,
you're-
Matt,
that?
what are you even doing with her? Get
I
over
did not say
it.
that. I very specifically avoided that.
It's like in the Golden Compass series of books where people who are born female have male daemons and vice versa.
Oh yeah.
So Johnny
I love
has
those
a
books.
little straight conscious whispering in his ear.
Oh God, no.
Being like, what have we brought?
The little heterosexual weasel that sits on
Hey,
his shoulder.
dude, you don't need to do those dishes tonight. What if we bought a truck?
Man, that would be. that would be dangerous because I don't like doing dishes in the first place. And if I had a straight guy in my head telling me what to do,
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it,
That's
man.
why Johnny
It's
only
fine.
eats off of paper plates and only cooks in roasting pans.
yes. No, I do dishes all the time. I'm making, instead of impulse buying, which is a problem of mine, I am now writing down things when I want to impulse buy them, so later I can decide when I've saved up enough money what I should spend it on. That's been my new
Wow,
budget.
very
you're
smart.
planning your expenditures.
Yeah, so right now I've got a Sega CDX. This is the list of things I've felt the impulse to buy, which is $600 on Facebook Marketplace. A DSi XL, which is like $80. A dishwasher, which probably is a better.
It's weird that you listed the dishwasher third.
Yeah.
Below the CD.
If I wrote a list like this, it would just be alcohol, Taco Bell, alcohol, Taco Bell, Taco Bell, alcohol.
And a cargo cover, because my car didn't come with a cargo cover over the back part, and I hate that. I don't want my shit like being seen, and because there's so many smash and grabs in Vancouver, it's like the biggest crime problem here.
Oh,
But if
wow.
you have a cargo cover, they see that and they're like, "Oh, this guy's got some valuable shit."
No,
like you
they
need to put one boot and a dirty.
Richie Rich can pay for a cargo cover
Dirty
on his
towel in there.
electric vehicle.
Anyway,
You know there's a PlayStation Vita in that vehicle.
so
You know, if you had gotten the Tesla like we told you to, I believe you can install like automated guns that will shoot anybody that comes near your car.
true.
Elon says they'll be out any day.
Yeah, but then they will shoot
Plus, it
you.
would be
Like,
a hate crime to break the window.
oh yeah.
Yeah, then you're a terrorist.
Elbows up, Johnny. Elbows up.
I don't like that either. It makes me feel excluded from my own country because I'm not into hockey. Like,
We get
fuck
it.
you guys.
We get it. Elbows
We're
up,
into
Johnny!
it. Elbows up.
I'm not
Oh, man, I
voting for
forgot to-
them.
I forgot to work out today.
That's like a liberal voting thing, and I'm not voting liberal.
Yeah, you must be
And
excited
that's how
for your
you get
snap
Trump.
election
So
where you can-
anyway,
There's like 5 different parties. It's not a 2-party system. It's not the same thing.
that's what we thought.
It doesn't matter if the conservatives have a majority as long as Johnny gets to vote green.
Fuck off.
That was mean. That was awful.
I do not. Don't compel me to vote for someone I don't necessarily align with politically.
Christ does not compel me. So we get some money from this old guy who's like, "Don't fuck my daughter." It's weird. It's a weird scene, man.
Yeah.
She didn't seem interested in sleeping with him in the first place, so she hates him more than her dad does.
Wow, this
Yeah, it
is
was
weird
more like
because
a
we
don't
definitely got different
associate with that
vibes from
trash.
this. I thought she was like, "Hee hee, hello, Ryudo."
No, she doesn't like him either. She's like, "Oh, you're a dirty, stinky."
I'll tell you
GM."
what, she does now that her dad has made him forbidden fruit.
Oh.
Oh, grass is always greener.
Well, and that guy definitely hits his daughter. So anyway, we leave this situation and immediately, I guess, find a message. I thought this was confusing. There's like, I guess, a note tied to a tree.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's how
that's his
you
house.
get your jobs. That's how like before cell phones. That's how TaskRabbit used to work.
They called it geohound back then, Johnny.
Oh, sorry. That's how
Yeah.
geohound used to work.
You just hang up your request on a tree, and whoever ambles by looking for work picks it up and goes to work for the day.
This does seem to be
sounds nice.
specifically addressed to Ryudo.
Yeah, that is weird.
I
So-
think he has kind of like a reputation locally because when I know this chunker stops at Agear village, but
Agear Town?
people there are familiar with Ryudo, so I think he's kind of locally known.
But he doesn't seem to know any of them.
Well, he's a loner.
Well, because everyone that he's run into in this chunker is a religious person, and we know Ryudo hates God, so.
And women.
It's true.
And women.
And women. So this
So, yeah,
town
so
is
we-
called
so
Carbo.
I will say,
Speaking
This
of
is Carbo.
carbo loading,
Before you-
am I right?
before
Oh!
you, before you get
Yay!
before you get to Carbo, you can explore this little forest area a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, you guys probably already know this, but it's worth it in this game to check if you can navigate it successfully, check every little nook and cranny of these 3D environments, not the towns, but everywhere that's not a town, because you can find a lot of gear that will be available in the town shops out in the field. Mm-hmm. So it's worth it to look out, and you can kind of you get so much more money finding it out in the field than you do from battles. So it's worth it to go out and take a peek.
Speaking of battles, how battle work?
Oh, this game has a great combat system. It's kind of like I wish Grandia 1 would have been this good. This is one of my favorite RPG combat systems, I think. I think I can say
It's
that.
it's a lot like Grandia 1, a bit like the Trails games. Although I think the Trails games operate more on a grid and this one's more loose.
Yeah.
But there's
this game it's kind of like a hybrid ATB and tactics it's like 10% tactics, 90% ATB turn-based. It's hard to describe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Matt, what do you think?
I'm sorry, what?
What do you think about the combat? Like, how would you describe the combat of this game?
I mean, it's still turn-based, menu-based, typical JRPG combat. It does have kind of an ATB system. This is an initiative point system, which actually, better phrasing, thank you very much. It is an initiative point system where everybody has a bar that slowly fills, and you take your turns in order, and your bar fills faster based on your speed. It has a fantastic system where you can cancel out an enemy's attacks if you hit them after they issue a command, but before they fulfill the attack.
You have to hit them with a critical.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you have to hit them with the critical, which does that. So you have basically have two attacks, combo and critical. Combo is a double attack, so it does double damage. Critical is a single attack, but will interrupt an attack. Though I notice that sometimes you can hit them and it'll counter.
Counter is delay. This is actually something worth looking at because I think counter is like delay, and I think it depends on where they're at.
Well, critical delays it too. So if you hit them between their issuing the command and attacking or whatever, you will delay them. It'll knock their bar back, but it doesn't restart it or cancel the attack as far as I know. It still comes.
Okay, this says you need to initiate an attack right as the enemy's attack animation begins. So if you're able to hit them, if you're able to deal a counter while their attack animation has started, the counter will cancel their attack.
Oh, okay.
If it happens before that, then it will just delay it.
Anyway, it does make for some strategy, and it is fun. And then you also, of course, have big special moves, which are big, fancy attacks, and those are also pretty entertaining. Ryudo only has one at the start. I can't remember what it's called. Tensaiken or something like that.
Tenkaisen slash.
It does do a shitload of damage and will one-shot a lot of things, but it is really fun. And it has the type of system where the enemies are on the field. If they see you, they'll rush you. If you can get behind them, you can get initiative on them. But either way, it makes for really great tactical combat depending on your starting situation. I'm really fucking digging it so far.
Yeah, and what's interesting is, and you don't really get much of it now because in fact, it's kind of I think the most underdeveloped part of the combat, but your characters have a move stat that you can augment with, weapons and accessories, and so like if you're on the opposite end of the kind of battlefield or the battle arena during combat, if you select I'm going to attack this thing on the opposite side and you don't have enough move points to get there, your character will not execute their attack. So they'll move as far as they can and then they'll stop and then you won't get an attack. So like your characters have like a little move stat that kind of dictates how much they can move across the field before doing the thing that you told them to do.
Yeah, this stuff's kind of confusing actually. Like you don't control their movement on the field, and sometimes they'll get in close and wait there, and sometimes they'll just run to the other side of the field, and I don't really know what's going on with that. But it is nice if Ryudo runs far enough away, even if they get their attack off, if you get an attack off, you often can counter them. because they'll kind of want to initiate the animation until they get close to each other. So
I think like a little tip for this game is it's almost always worth it to have your characters just gang up on one enemy.
yeah, I mean,
Like,
I find that
'cause-
true for basically every game.
Because eventually there will be boss fights, and the boss has like 4 different things that you have to kill on it, and it's always worth it to just basically expend all your abilities at the beginning, concentrate on the one thing, and then just attack the rest of the time. Like it's kind of like the game wants you to unload your abilities and magic at the beginning of battle, like if you can.
So
It is very fun so far. We're very early in the game, so we'll see how it evolves, as they always do. But I will say this, something that I always appreciate in these fucking games, the fights are fast. I mean, some of the bigger fights are longer, which is fine. That's what you want. But I want these random encounters with spiders and birds and fucking lizards to last 20 seconds at most. And that's what I'm getting here.
Yeah.
And that's what I love.
And in the first Grandia game, and I know that if I were to go back and re-listen to our Grandia 1 series, my main gripe with that game is the voice acting is fucking terrible. The voice acting in this game is actually really good, and I'm not even annoyed. Like, every time you get victory in combat, whoever dealt the final blow gets a little speaking line at the end and a little victory animation.
I'm already sick of that shit.
They're just repeats. I don't mind it at all. I like
at
the voice
all.
acting in this game a lot. At all.
So we are all playing the HD remaster. It's a remaster.
HD collection, yeah.
HD collection remaster. So how much of the original game had voice acting, do you think? Did they do anything different for this, or is there less or more?
No, I was reading, and I think this is the original voice acting. It's still so the voice of Ryudo is Cam Clark, who's a pretty famous voice actor.
Is he the guy who did...
played to make it stream relevant. John, you're muted.
Oh,
to make it stream relevant. Cam Clark played the voice of Simba in Kingdom Hearts 2. In the Lion King levels. He's done the voice of Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles in basically every animated version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Pretty well-known voice actor. I think Jennifer Hale also does a voice in this game.
Yeah, I honestly heard a voice. And I was like, that sounds like Jennifer Hale. But I was also intoxicated. But you brought that back. You took that little nugget out of my brain.
Yeah.
So when we get to this town, we find a group of girls, the ones from the opening, right? And they are they're doing a little field trip. But so I got a little confused here. They're going to the tower to do this ceremony, and they're like, and we got a guard, and the guard is a geohound. And I thought they were saying that the girls had a guard, but just that one girl has a guard?
Just the one, and she has to stay behind while the others go ahead to practice her singing, I guess.
Oh, I thought it was like a designated survivor thing, like that TV
She's-
show, Designated
no, she's-
Survivor.
She's the songstress of Granis.
Oh. What's a songstress?
Somebody who sings.
I don't know.
She sings
A
in the
singer.
church. Vanessa?
I was just going to do a joke answer, but Matt has given us the actual
Is
answer.
Patti LaBelle a songstress?
You can still do a joke answer.
Patti LaBelle
No,
sings in a
the
church.
timing of it's not right.
I'm trying to make a joke, but it's just being
Patti
ignored.
LaBelle, I guess? Does she sing in churches?
Yeah.
I know a lot
Who's
about
Patti
Miss
LaBelle?
Who's Patti LaBelle? Oh, she's got a new attitude.
Oh, got it. Sorry. So like Gen X Chapel Roan. We get it, Johnny.
Wow.
All right. Well, that was that was a well-received gag. I did not realize that the girls from the beginning of the game were the girls here. So that's an interesting point, Johnny. And yeah, they send the girls on ahead to this spooky tower. But the songstress, is her name Elena? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elena, that is correct. So how do you guys feel? I feel like a lot of the like traversal in towns and in the dungeons is dictated by the compass in this game. Have you guys?
I can't understand the compass.
The triangle button.
I don't understand the compass.
The compass
I
points.
understand
So
the
when you're in town, you can press triangle or Y, whatever you're playing on, and it will cycle points of interest in wherever you're at. So if you're in a dungeon, it will either point forward to the next part of the dungeon, or you can flip it and it will point and it will say back. So you can go back the way you came.
I just figured it
if
was
you're-
pointing like as the crow flies to wherever you need to go, but not like
It does. So it does do that.
Yeah.
It does do that. So when you point it forward, it will just point where the exit is, not how to get there.
yeah. It's not BioShock.
But and in town you can cycle it through the inn, the general store, or maybe one or two other points of interest. But there will always be in town a compass spot for the inn and a compass spot for the general store. So you can always get to one of those two places by hitting the triangle or Y button.
Is that Dory behind you, Matt? Oh yeah, that's Dory.
Hi. You're annoying.
Does she have $1 too?
That would be funny if like Connor put the dollar in Dory's mouth and she sent her in there.
I tried to take a nap today, and the minute I shut my door, she sat outside my door for the entire hour that I was on lunch and scratched at my door and meowed. The entire hour. It was really annoying.
Yeah, I'm working with Jack at like not being in the bedroom all night, and he usually does okay. Sometimes he'll have a little meow fit in the night, and then my alarm usually goes off at 8, and he at 7:30 will be banging on the door, waking me up. He's like, I'm not
really?
waiting.
I
know
have
it's time to
a
get
special
up."
pillow for Porky, and she's very good about sleeping on that. It's right next to my head, so it's fine.
I used to do that for Chungus, and then when like Amanda started staying over, there was a real like 2-week battle of wills between Amanda and Chungus for the pillow. like Chungus in the middle of the night would try to lay on Amanda's head to lay claim to the pillow, and I would have to like physically remove her from the room.
Aww. Yeah, she won't. She'll sit on my desk chair and then stare at the bed all night if I have a guest over.
I don't let Dory sleep in the room with me because I will have basically like a allergic asthma attack and die.
Oh. Well, that's not good. Don't do
Anywho.
that. Don't die, Matt. Don't die. There's someone in the
Yeah.
town. So the priest says, "Don't say yes or no immediately. I want you." He's the one who hired you. He's like, "I want you to escort Elena. So go to the inn, have a little nap,
Well,
think it over."
First,
Yeah,
you
he's
go
like,
to the
"Wait for
church
me at
and
the
meet
end."
Elena, and she's like, who's this piece of shit? Like, she hates your guts the second she sees you.
Yeah, it's
But also, you're like a fucking dick to her from
Yeah,
the
like-
opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no
frame,
question
yeah.
about that. Ryudo walks into the church, is like, so you hired me, huh? And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm 14 years old.
He walks into the church and he's like, I fucking hate church and I hate
Idiot.
God. Like, he's like not holding back.
oh, okay. So I have
Kids are singing.
Yeah. They do call him. They do say like my kind. I took screenshots of Ryudo being a dick every time, including him saying right when you meet the priest for the first time. You do say excuses and women are equally tiring,
Yep.
which is great.
Is Ryudo an incel?
He's a Dennis
No,
Miller.
Ryudo fucks.
Yeah.
Ryudo definitely fucks.
Do you think the term incel is like valid in a medieval world where like most people don't get laid before marriage?
If you go by like the actual definition, involuntary celibate, it doesn't matter what age you are. If you wish to volunteer your virginity and nobody takes it, I guess that just makes you an incel,
Yeah.
right?
So like most of human history, everybody was an incel
Yeah. Unless they had swerkers.
or a volcel.
I mean,
think
most
that
of
you're
history had
underestimating
swerkers.
the amount of premarital sex in the Middle Ages, Matt, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
There
I'm
was
sure you're
nothing to do
right.
back then, dude.
I'm sure you're right, but at the same time, like, that was still frowned upon, and a lot of people took that very seriously.
It's true. Especially if you're like noble or
Yeah.
had, yeah, because then you could get extra.
No, see, I think
don't
it's the
wanna
opposite.
waste-
I think
don't
the
wanna
noble,
waste
well,
your
the noble
seeds.
women were like, you've been not allowed to do anything, but now that you're 12, this guy
Nobles
who
didn't-
definitely has
nobles
syphilis from
didn't
fucking
care.
tons of horse. I'm sorry, sworkers.
What are we talking about?
Sworkers.
Grandia.
Yeah,
Grandia
Grandia. This
II.
is all part of Ryudo's backstory.
Yeah, so you take a little break at the end, and then I guess he convinces you to go back.
Yeah, he does. He tells you, he offers you a gold statue.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say, at least in the parts of the game that I have played, which I've said I've only probably played about 70-ish% of the game, there are a lot of in-talking scenes. Like people talking in an inn.
Didn't that happen in
This game
Grandia? One of the games we
loves
played
talking in an inn.
had in talks, and I feel like it was Grandia.
I think it was Grandia, actually.
I think you're thinking of
like
Final
in
Fantasy
talks.
Tactics.
What, Vanessa?
I like in talks. I like, a party banter at a campsite and
I like
getting to know
out-quiets,
each other.
personally.
I like it when the game takes a minute to like let the characters talk to one another.
Yeah, I agree with
think
that.
that's a good thing. But yeah, so he convinces you at this inn to escort Elena to the tower. He does
A little
offer
weird,
you
though,
a gold
right?
statue.
A little weird that this guy's like, Ryudo, come meet me at my church. And then you get there and he's like, go meet me in the inn.
Yeah. Oh, get a room.
Get a room,
one, one full bed for both of us.
Find out what your bird thinks about this situation first.
I do like the animation whenever Elena is yelling at Ryudo. She has this like anime arms back yelling like, I don't have to do
She
anything
does,
you
yeah.
say.
It is to me it's intentional, but it is meant to make them look like a child.
Yeah, even though she's
Yeah.
she's a teenager, but yeah, it makes her look even younger.
Elena is a very, like, I'm sure it's not surprising, but a very, like, stereotypical JRPG, like, damsel. You know what I mean? Like, party character damsel.
Now, I think they're trying to do
Nag.
the characters that hate each other who eventually love each other thing, but I feel like they started a few notches too too much towards hate.
Yeah, they were in the red from the beginning.
Yeah.
Someone, whoever wrote the opening part of this game for Ryudo did not eat breakfast because they are cranky.
Yeah, they
So
are
since
cranky
we're
boys.
talking about meeting Elena, we have her portrait here. Do you guys want to talk
yeah,
about?
I do. I really, really do.
She looks like my first thought the first time I played this when I saw Elena and I saw her character model because I googled it was she looks like Raggedy Ann. What? She does. She looks like Raggedy Ann.
A little bit. But Raggedy Ann has that kind of, what do you call that?
It's like
the square
Raggedy
checker.
Ann crossed with strawberry shortcake.
Yeah. What do you call that pattern though? That's like squares, like that, like rustic.
Plaid?
Is it plaid? Yeah, I guess so. Or like gingham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gingham's more
Gingham
of a
style?
fabric,
Oh, okay.
Gingham style.
I think.
Anyway, that kind of plaid pattern. She's like Raggedy Ann has that, but yeah, she's got like a lot of those.
Oh no,
big
you were right,
beads.
Johnny. It is sort of it's a fabric, but it's known for its checked pattern.
Okay,
But she doesn't have a checked pattern anywhere
No,
on
but
her
I'm
fucking
saying
character
that's what
model. So what are
Raggedy-
you talking about?
Ann looks like.
Oh, yeah, like a patchwork quilt style kind of thing.
So anyway, she's got a cool headband with 2 red balls tied to the ends.
There are a lot of balls.
Is
baubles.
that the ends of the headband, or is those are on her shoulders?
Oh, the
right?
shoulder
Or like
pads?
Her collarbone, kind of.
I thought that those were attached to her head thingy, but I guess that no, yeah, you're right. They are attached to her.
It doesn't look
Yeah,
like it.
you're right.
Yeah.
They're part of her upper body's outfit. She's got
This is a
some
very
lacy
Game
bits.
Arts.
Yeah.
It's a very Game Arts design. Like, this feels like a Game Arts thing.
She's got a little bow over her midsection. She's got a couple of belts and big boots and little puffy pantaloons. Does this outfit have pockets?
She looks like a
No.
What's it called? A potion user from Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
Alchemist?
Oh,
Yeah.
Alchemist,
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Got little pink ribbons that come out of her shirt and have little red balls attached to them.
And she's got one of those I would call it a Chinese collar. I'm sure there's a better word for Nehru collar. Like the one that goes
Collar?
Yeah, the one that goes up, and she's got a little bauble holding that together.
I love those. I remember when Hollywood tried to make those a thing for a while, like in the 2000s, and I was really into it. I don't like foldy collars. I think they look fucking stupid.
Well, they always get fucked up. I'm never good
Yeah,
at
I
keeping
bet.
my collars in good.
Well,
proper
like,
form.
I'll tell you
wearing a-
this: 2000s Matt liked the way those short collar shirts looked, but also knew that he couldn't pop those up once he had a couple of drinks. So,
Ah.
That's how you tell everyone around you, stay away from me.
Oh,
that's a funny thing to say, but it's not how it worked. It said, "Hello, ladies, come say hello. Look, my shirt is half tucked in, my collar's popped up." The siren song of the 2000s douchebag male.
I'm only getting sloppier, babe.
so I guess the gold statue is enough for Ryudo to get over it.
Yeah, I will say you do get this gold statue in like the next scene. Sell it immediately.
Oh.
It has no other value.
I was gonna keep
Hang
it
on.
forever.
I was going to keep it forever too. Hang on though. I want to go back to our previous conversation. Jim, did you ever at least do the half pop on the collar?
I
Never did a
Maybe
half pop.
accidentally.
okay. I have an embarrassing
I
admission.
don't like wearing collared shirts. I'll say that right now. I do not
I
like wearing
only wear
shirts.
collared shirts.
This is an embarrassing admission, and I've never told the story on Square Roots before. And you've never heard this. I started popping my collar in my teenage years because I watched the Dune movie, and Sting had like a popped collar
Oh yeah.
as the Harkonnen
Memes
Mentat.
ruined the pop collar in the 2000s when memes started popping up of guys with multiple shirts with popped collars.
Oh, I do remember that. Where there'd be like three polos and they're all popped up. Yeah, I remember that. Vanessa,
Yeah.
it's okay to like long legs.
Oh, okay.
Did you like?
Just saying.
I do like how everyone in town is like, "Oh, Elena, sweetie, be careful! It's getting dark out. But you better go to the tower now, or you're gonna fall down and have a whoopsie bum bum." Mm-hmm. And she's like, "I'm not a child."
She is a child.
I don't know why they're infantilizing Elena so much. Like, there's no like narrative point to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why make this party character who you're supposed to invest time and like mental energy into? Why make her a baby?
Well, she's supposed.
What
It's the
babies?
spoiled brat trope, right?
Why make Ryudo a dick? It's
Why,
called
though?
a character arc, Jim.
Okay, there's one
I
conversation.
can see Ryudo being a dick. Like, he's a guy that like doesn't fit in because seems like a very religious world.
Mm-hmm.
A guy that seems counter to that for his own reasons. We don't know about them yet, but like I get that friction. But why make Elena like a little baby? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, continue.
Seems like lazy writing to have your two characters be sort
I
of
think
like
it is,
the
yeah.
biggest anime tropes. But
And like
maybe it will
it
change.
feels like they paid an extra like translator to translate Ryudo's Japanese into the meanest English they could possibly conceive.
I
So
fucking
mean
doubt
to
it,
Elena.
Jim. I legit doubt it.
One thing I do appreciate about Ryudo though is he is freely using curse words.
Here's
He's a bad boy.
the best piece of Ryudo Dennis Millerism. You talk to this random townswoman, and she says, that cursed moon hangs in the sky. Why does my son not listen to me? That idiot never comes in early on such days as this. And Elena says, has he not returned? Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm reading. Almost there. I lost my place. 1 second.
It's hard to read.
It is
I've got
hard.
$20 for you right now to stop watching your own playthrough while
Never.
we're talking about this and just try and have a conversation.
I do want to know what he was getting
Okay. Has he not returned? But the moon of Valmar is about to rise. That's just it. And I keep telling him over and over, come home once the moon comes out. I know. Maybe he's too busy enjoying his childhood. I got an idea. Let's strip that from him and force him to grow up.
Wow.
There's a lot of really great dialogue in this first town. If you go talk to the NPCs in this first town, there's a lot of really funny dialogue here.
Mm-hmm.
I found a sexy grandma.
What?
You did?
A sexy
Yeah.
grandma?
Yeah, I was wandering around and saw this, alluring gray-haired lady walking around, and she's like, oh, you've come to talk to Granny. All Granny does anymore is tell stories and tell your fortune. So do you want a story or a fortune? And she'll tell you sort of 2 lore stories, and then she'll read your fortune, and she says, oh, I see. Women trouble and a great love. Wink, 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 wink.
Ooh.
Ooh. So yeah, we're told to take Elena to the
Garmia?
Tower of what's it?
Garmia?
Garmia?
Yeah.
Garmia Tower.
Garment Tower.
And we have to go through the woods first.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we get like our first real taste of the dungeons in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is
These
not
are-
a
these
dungeon.
are very
It is
short.
a wood.
And Elena, not part of your active battle party.
No, I
No,
was
Elena
surprised.
joins as an NPC. So you are not playing as Elena in combat in this chunker, which like I kind of think is a miss.
You do do
Like, even
after the tower.
Yeah, you do after the tower, but I wish they would have done it here as well.
Yeah,
Doesn't make
it
sense
seemed weird.
that if you've been hired to escort her, why would she be fighting monsters?
Yeah. So you go through the woods. There's, like I said, like it's always worth it too to probably keep like at this point maybe 5 going forward, probably at least 10 to 15 of like all the healing items in your thing. This game does like to buff or like it does like to debuff your characters a lot, and it does like to inflict like paralysis and confusion on your characters. So
Do you need a different?
keep that in mind.
Do you need a different item for each debuff?
Elena does have like
do.
no. Elena definitely has a poison, paralysis, whatever.
There is, yeah, there are spells that you can learn that can
She starts with
counter
one.
multiple different types of debuffs.
Mine
Yeah,
didn't
she
start
does.
with one, did she?
You have to.
It's
You
in-
have to.
it's in
the
her
menus
magic.
are weird, Vanessa. You have to like. When you open the special attacks menu, you know where her like grenade is.
Right.
If you like, I think it's R1L1.
It is R1.
Through
Yeah, it's
you'll go
R1.
through. She has a whole list of spells.
Oh,
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
way that the way the abilities menu works is you hit the abilities icon, and the first screen it brings up is your character's SP abilities, which are like your like basically like your limit breaks kind of.
All right, is
Those
that
are
for
like
the
your-
green, the
those are like
stamina
your-
bar, the green bar?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So those are the basically the attack spells that are specific to your character that only your character can learn. If you hit R1, it will cycle through the magic that you have equipped to that character. So magic in this game comes from eggs. And when you have
Pardon?
Elena in your party as a playable character, she has a holy egg equipped. That's where her healing spells come from. So in this game, you get a bunch of different eggs. You can put them on different characters to equip them with different types of like elemental magic and buffs and deep. So,
But you can only equip one at a time?
You only equip one at a time, yes. So
I hate that.
You can. So in each egg has like a bunch of what I'll call like offensive spells where they'll either heal your party or damage the other characters, but they will have 2 or 3 pages of buffs and or debuffs. So it's worth it to like really understand what each egg does, so you know like how to plan your combat appropriately in each dungeon. We'll get into that more in the next chunker when we get eggs and books. There are also books in this game which can teach you passive buffs and debuffs.
I can't believe I missed a whole...
I
mean, I can because I was deeply intoxicated, but I can't believe I missed a whole panel of spells.
I didn't, John, nobody, nothing. Vanessa missed it too.
Yeah.
I barely caught it. It was an accident.
It's only a thing with Elena because like you only have one egg at
the
this
game
time,
does
so it's
not
either
tell
on
you.
Elena. It does not tell you at all. So the only way that there's no combat tutorial in this game.
There is.
The only
you can go to the man at the.
Yeah, the man with the
That's what I was
hat.
gonna say the only
man with the cool hat, the best hat I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's an elective
I believe his name is
tutorial.
the Riddler.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a guy in each general store or shop that has like a question mark hat on. Question mark like thing.
It's a
over his
top
head.
hat that has golden question marks circling around it. It's amazing.
Yeah. And he is the guy who will tell you all about the combat mechanics, and he is in every store in this game. So if you're halfway through the game and you realize you don't really understand how the combat works, you can always find this guy, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's an elective kind of combat tutorial.
It's in Final Fantasy. All of the Final Fantasies had that too, and I prefer that.
Teach me, Mogster.
Yeah.
Yeah, teach me.
But
monster.
maybe, well, the shopkeeper does point to him, so it's not like they don't.
Yeah. Because remember, like the early Final Fantasies had like the fighting school where you could go to for your training. It's usually like in the first village there'd be a building you could go to.
All right, I need to point something out. May I? May I have the attention of the room, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny has to leave in 19 minutes, and we haven't even finished the fucking chunker.
One time, I saw a guy walking around in a question mark suit, and I thought maybe it was the Riddler, but it was just that government can save you money guy from the infomercial.
No.
I loved those commercials.
All right.
So yeah, we should talk about Garmia Tower.
Yeah.
So we get to Garmia Tower, and Elena's like, I'm gonna go in and meet all of my fellow religious people. You stay out here, it's fine. So she goes in there, and after a certain amount of hours, like it's light when you get there. It's
They
dark
tell
when it
you.
cuts.
Let me just interject. Quickly, I'll interject. You show up with Elena. The group tells you, do not fucking come inside. We're gonna go inside. It's gonna be a while. I think it's daytime when you get there, and then it cuts to later on. Ryudo's got a campfire going. It's clearly been some time. He's been told, stay the fuck out. No matter what you hear.
But they do say we don't want literally your kind in here, meaning geohounds. But
Yeah.
I could understand him
Bigots.
bristling a little against that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's rude.
But then
It's unfortunate
it
because
cuts-
they always phrase it as like, we don't want you because you're a geohound, and not we don't want you because you're an abrasive jerk.
yeah.
We like to call those the Van Zants where I'm from.
Oh. I hear there's a lot of Van Zants where you're from.
Well, yeah, I got a bunch of kids and like family, so like we all live in a trailer
That makes sense. Wait, I thought you
outside
lived...
the Square Roots house.
Yeah, I was
We
going to
all live in
say.
a property.
yeah.
So yeah, eventually Ryudo hears a ruckus.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I gotta go in there. Sky kind of tries to talk him out of it a little bit, which I thought was kind of a dick move.
Well,
like, what else are you gonna do?
He's like, oh, do you really want to go inside?
Yeah.
Meet with
although
those
I guess
girls?"
Ryudo already got paid for this.
Yeah.
He got the gold statue already. So
Well, you know what? He's a man of his word, so he does go inside. And
Yeah,
then
but he
you
promised
get...
not to go inside, so he's a man not of his word.
I don't know that he promised to not
Yeah,
go
they told him
inside.
not to. But the music inside that tower, amazing. It's like a real.
Was it the best music you'd ever heard in your life?
Well, that's what I said to myself when I heard it. It's incredible. But I also remember it with like a full operatic chorus in the background that didn't actually happen. I'm not joking.
All right, so this has been Johnny's I was on acid while I played this game corner.
I was
If
intoxicated.
you want to enjoy your video game, don't get high. That's just lame. The designers made the game for you, so you know what you need to do. Stay sober. I'm Danny.
Why does Danny sound like a little gremlin?
I'm
I was gonna say, why does Danny sound like a wit stirring a cauldron?
or you'll go to hell before you die.
Yeah.
Please.
That is 100% going in the next video. And
That is again, I feel like I have to qualify it for the listeners. Johnny sent us a video of Lou Albano at what appeared to be the end of a Mario Brothers show.
yeah, he's just wearing the
trying
hat.
to convince kids to not do drugs, and he ended it with, "So don't do drugs. So don't do drugs, or you'll go to hell before you die. Please."
Which also implies that all of the children watching are going to go to hell after they die.
I don't understand. Like, how can you go to hell before you die? I know he's Catholic, but that's not even a Catholic thing.
That's what it's like to be on drugs.
Oh.
The opposite of what it's like to be on drugs.
Oh.
Feels like Satan giving you a tug.
Satan, give me a tug.
I'm Lou.
All right, can we fucking finish this?
Yeah.
Already
So what
goddamn-
happens when you get inside the tower, except for the amazing music?
So we get in the tower, we get to the top floor, and we run into the other lady. Hold on,
And there's monsters.
If we don't
There's
finish this chunker
monsters.
really, really soon, Vanessa's probably gonna have to swoon. I'm Danny.
No, Vanessa's
Did
sticking
it-
around.
did it-
She promised.
She said she would be here no matter how long
Yeah.
we
I don't
Yeah.
know if you have been paying attention to the Vanessa that's on screen, but I have, and I think that she's about to die.
I have
know.
been rubbing my little eyes.
Yeah.
You,
All right, so at
you
the-
put your head back for a moment and like closed your eyes, and I thought you were asleep.
She's not a mat. She's not going to fall asleep on camera.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That was like 7 years ago.
That's true.
Also,
I think I
let's
did
be
that
honest,
once,
that
yeah.
wasn't sleepiness, that was intoxication. That was in my divorcing
Although-
days when I was wasted all the time.
All right. Top floor of the tower, finally. We run into Tessa, who is the other priestess of Granus Lady, and she's dying.
Yeah, she doesn't look so
she
good.
She says the ceremony
she's
was
dying.
a failure, and then she dies. Ryudo runs into the little chamber that they're in. There's all kinds of weird machinery around, and he sees Elena with like surrounded by like black clouds.
In the form of
and-
wings.
And you get a flash. Yeah, you get a flash, and there's some wings behind.
Yeah, this is pretty
Hell
cool.
yeah. She's got devil
Pretty
wings.
cool. And he grabs her and does like a little zip line, I'm out of here kind of thing.
I loved the zip
Like
line
a
thing.
real Nathan Drake exit.
I'm a little bummed we're not talking about this because this to me was the first
We are
real
talking about
dungeon
it.
of the
We're talking about
game.
it right now.
Like we have to go up through multiple levels of this tower. There's like it's puzzly, like it's not a straightforward path.
Yeah, like you have to really be turning the camera all the time to see the next way through.
The game really wants you to swing that camera around.
Yeah, well, this is in the early days when swinging a camera around was like people were like, "Holy shit, dude! I can like look around."
My Sega
is one of the
Dreamcast is
games
so
where-
powerful.
Is this a Dreamcast original?
Yeah, this is a
It
Dreamcast
is.
game.
Yeah, Dreamcast.
No
OG.
PS2.
I
Nope.
don't think it had a PS. Let me double check, but I don't think it had a PS2 port. Keep
I
going.
mean, I like it so far, but it's no Skies of Arcadia, a game I barely remember other than nostalgia.
Actually, so Skies of Arcadia,
It did.
Grandia 2.
It came out on PS2.
Shenmue, Evolution. Those were the big Dreamcast JRPGs.
Shenmue's garbage, and I wouldn't even call it a JRPG.
Grandia
Yeah.
2.
Record
Matt.
of Lodos.
Record of Lodos War. What?
No, that's
I know
way
the
older.
anime.
That's 95.
Matt, PS2. There was a PS2 release in 2002, and it did come to North America.
Oh, that's like a couple
Did the
years after
Dreamcast version not come to
It
North
did.
America?
Ubisoft released
It
it.
did.
Ooh, weird.
Who?
Ubisoft.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this an Assassin's Creed game?
Yeah,
Basically.
this is a
I
Shadow
mean-
Assassin's Creed game.
Oh,
Not Assassin's Creed
geohound
Shadow.
Creed.
Don't mix them up.
All right, so we rescue Elena.
When is Ryudo going to get the Apple of Eden and kill the Pope? Which, by the way, we get mention of a Pope in this
We
game,
do.
so that's possible.
We
Yeah.
are told to go see the Pope. In
Yeah,
this
Pope
game.
Innocentius.
Holy shit!
Pope Innocentius
I've never
that's
heard
right.
a name in a game that said to me more, "This dude's evil."
What? Come
I think
on.
that's what the Pope was called in my game.
I mean, but there have been like 7 Pope
He's like
Innocentiuses
Pope
in real life.
Zera
No, it's like-
Innocentius.
Yeah, it's Zera Innocentius.
But yeah, there have been.
Zora, but
Zora.
Yeah,
that's it.
Zorro Innocentius. So you're like, where's
Sarah.
Hi Ho Silver?
There's a
right?
lot of Pope Innocentiuses. I think like 14 of them, at least. Matt.
Yeah, I bet they were all real cool guys.
Well, I'm just saying it's not that weird. There have really been popes named that. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, it's a common.
Okay,
Pope
I
name.
apologize that I took this JRPG name to not be a real name.
Yeah.
I guess I'm wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
He's definitely the big bad of the game.
I don't disagree with you. He might.
How could you say
So-
that about the Pope?
I've played these games, Vanessa.
You ever heard about any of these popes, Vanessa?
These.
Can I? So, like in this chunker, the thing that I thought was the weirdest was this priest who is revealed to be Tessa's father, who is not at all concerned with the
No.
fact that his daughter is dead at the top of this tower. He's
No,
all
don't. You're jumping way
100%
ahead. We can't
concerned.
talk about this yet. We're still
What? It's the next thing that happens.
That's not the next thing that happens. We're at Grandia Tower. We zip away with
Grandia Tower.
Yep.
zip away with Elena,
Yeah,
and then we
zip
go
on
back and we have to
home.
like put her to bed. And the Pope is not the Pope. Sorry, the
Priest.
the priest is like,
Father
I need to-
Carius.
I need to talk to you at the inn some more.
Yeah, and
That's the only place he's willing to do business.
the priest is pretty cool though. He has like tinted sunglasses. So
Yeah, he seems to.
yeah.
Hey, I'm not just like your normal priest. I'm like a cool priest. I'm just here to like. We'll go to the inn. It doesn't even have to be their church, and we'll just chat.
Yeah,
gonna
I'm gonna
rap
turn this chair
We're gonna
backwards.
rap. I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit backwards in my chair.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna turn my hat on backwards. All right, Jim. Before we get to the big next bit, which is huge, there is a bit here where the priest talks to us about the wings, and I need you to explain that because I don't know.
He's
So we saw Valmar like in the opening cutscene. Valmar
Satan.
was the big black hand.
Yeah.
That
Evil.
pounded
Darkness.
into the White Star. Yeah. And so he says that when Valmar was defeated, Valmar split into a bunch of different pieces. A bunch of different parts. And so they
Kingdom
have to
parts.
seal Valmar's parts away, or they can become stronger and possess people. And that's what they were doing at the tower. They were sealing away Valmar's wings.
And if you're possessed by the wings, they will eat your soul a little bit at a time until they're all done eating your soul, and then they'll leave your body.
Oh, that's not
So
good.
Elena has been possessed by Valmar's wings.
Oh, that means she's gonna die.
Welcome to
Don't
Valmar!
give Valmar's wings to fly, or you will surely die. I'm telling you.
So this is where
I'm sorry, you're not Danny, you're Gospel Duck.
this is where Ryudo says, "Ugh, well, I don't love like God or women," which is one of his
Yeah,
best
this is
lines.
when he's talking to the priest, because the priest is trying to get him to sign on for like an extended job, which is like, I need you to get Elena to go see the Pope in the papal city of Saint Heim, and he's like, but
Pope, definitely
like
the good
your-
guy, I think is his name.
Yeah, I like your money, but also I hate God and women. So
I don't want to be misunderstood here. So please try not to please try not to intentionally misconstrue my words.
oh, but that's just waiting.
I know she
Take
is.
this out of context.
I feel like this is a pretty accurate portrayal of a teenage boy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I can see that. How old is Ryudo supposed to be?
I don't know, but he probably listens to Andrew Tate.
Yeah, he's just a little scumball.
Oh.
He's just your ordinary little teenage scumball.
He's a little impressionable
He's just
boy.
he's 17. He's a real teenage dirtbag.
He has that smell, you know, that teenage boy smell?
Kind of like Bleach, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
Matt,
Andrew smells so
Ouch.
bad.
Matt, no.
No, what?
Sweaty.
No, that's too accurate.
Yes.
All right, so the priest is like,
Axe body
escort
spray.
Elena to the Saintheim Papal State, and Ryudo's like, no, but maybe I'll sleep on it. So he goes to the inn to have a good night.
Carnal relations with the priest.
And then there's a whole attack that night. Oh my gosh. A big attack.
Oh my gosh,
What?
there is. This, like, lady shows up?
She's so hot. Her jugs are so big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt must have paused the game on her, like that close up of her, and been like, "Hold on a minute, I need like 30 seconds."
Yeah.
Maybe.
That
I took
definitely
so many fucking
cranked us on.
screenshots of her. I am now embarrassed to admit I was trying to.
I mean, she's totally Matt's type. She rolls in, she's like grinning, but also evil. And she's like, "You suck. Ha ha ha. Look at me, I'm gonna smash everything."
She's a real little shit. Like a little dipshit.
She's a little dipshit. She smashes up everything. You have to fight her. And it's pretty, I mean, to me it was obvious right away that it was a you will lose this fight.
Well, because no matter what you did not whittle down her health bar at all.
Yeah.
You do your strongest attack and her health bar did not increment downward.
And I think she
even a
has
little
like the
bit.
question mark health bar, which
Yeah.
Oh
you
yeah.
know that means she has infinite health.
It does seem like she's wearing the bra as a top, except for like the shoulder pads and sleeves she's got.
Yeah, she has like a little halter top thing with like a little vest on over it.
Oh yeah, she does have that too. Yeah, she seems.
Well, I sent a pic of her.
Oh, you did.
Oh.
I sent a pic of
Let's check it out.
her character portrait to the group chat. If you guys want to look at
Oh,
it, she
she's
has.
so hot.
I hate to do this, but I want to start from bottom to top because she has some legitimately fantastic boots.
Yeah, good
Just-
heels.
Like purple, big old chunky heels, big chunky.
Those are good.
Base, purple kind of looking
She's got some
leather.
sucker shin guards on.
She does have and the boots go into these stockings that kind of end in like a little I don't know, like a piece of metal.
Yeah, I mean she's wearing thigh highs.
Yeah.
For sure.
But under her boots, she has her boots, and then she's got her thigh high armor
Stockings.
plated
yeah.
stockings. And then she's got her like loinclothy thing, which is attached to some fabric draped in the back, and it's like a sort of a gauzy fabric. And then she has
she's
her
wearing like
girdle.
a corset. Yeah,
Yeah.
a girdle.
corset is better, I think. And above that, her bra, and then the epaulettes going into sleeves thing she's got going on there.
Fiery red hair, big chunky horns, which I love a big chunky horn.
Yeah.
If you're going to have horns,
scowl.
you better try. You want to look like Tim Curry in Legend, not like Pan. You know
Does
what
she
I mean?
have any pockets? I don't see any pockets. I don't see, like, she doesn't have a backpack or anything that Ryudo has. Where'd she keep her stuff?
Doesn't. You could either tuck it in the boot or in the side of your bra.
Maybe she has
Or
a
even
clutch
along
she
the
just
top
put
of your
down for a
corset.
second. So she could destroy Ryudo with her weird, flashy skull magic.
Yeah.
But, and I did send a second picture here, which is from the game itself. She seems to have the wings as well. So explain that to me, Jim, but without spoiling the game.
I don't think I can explain to you without spoiling, without at least spoiling the next chunker.
No,
Yeah,
don't
don't-
do that.
So-
don't do
That's
it, Jim.
illegal.
Not gonna tell you.
And she does say, after defeating Ryudo, I like you. My name is Millennia. Next time we meet, I will make you mine. Heart emoji.
Like, in my opinion,
She literally
of this game,
has a heart
I feel
emoji
like
in her dialogue.
Yeah.
this
And that's
this
when
game
Matt
takes like
completely lost control.
Like,
I
game takes, like, a
fucking
weird
loved that, and I took a
narrative
screenshot
turn,
of it.
like halfway through it. But like the one thing that's consistent in this game among all the characters is that
so
uh,
she leaves.
oh, no.
Ryudo's like, oh no, that sucked. But I guess it sort of gives him the push that he needs to take this job.
he does want to... he doesn't like being defeated, not by a girl or anyone.
Yeah.
But especially a girl.
Yeah. Double especially a girl.
Jim definitely didn't just bail to make us end this with a fucking Vanessa and Matt two-hander, right?
I don't
Because
know.
that
he
would
was
be
smiling at his
shit.
phone, which makes me think that he thought of something better to do.
I think the gold statue was payment for the extended thing. I think there was just like a regular cash payment for the first part.
That's what I thought too. Because I didn't.
I'm
Think
white-
I
Yeah, there
it
was,
just-
because he gave you cash.
Yeah. All right, Matt, Vanessa, I hope you all have a great ending. My level up is I got sick of waffles. How?
Wow! Only because you were making them every single day in your little.
No, I
waffle
wasn't.
maker.
I've been having the protein booster bowls every weekday. When the waffles are now for weekends, but then like the second day of waffles this weekend, I was like, I'm just not really into these anymore.
I mean, that's how I felt at the end of my first week of egg bites. I heated up my couple of egg bites and was like, I ate them, but I was like, oh, all right.
I have a bunch of different types of egg bites, and different types
That's
of booster
smart.
bowls. Anyway,
Well, I made too many on my first
yeah, I just have
run
two.
through. I made
like
like
as a side dish.
24.
Oh boy, yeah, that's a lot of egg bites, Matt. All right,
Well,
bye
they weren't all for
everyone.
me. The kids were eating them.
Listeners, I love
John.
you. Bye. I hope Jim comes back. Bye.
He ain't coming back.
God, he fucking better. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Matt. So
This is now a Vanessa and Matt two-hander, and I
a
know that
rare
you're
combo.
tired, and
No,
I'm
gonna
really
bring it. I'm
sorry.
gonna muster the energy to get us through the end of the show.
So we
uh,
fight Millennia, and
Yep.
she is a bad guy.
We've been over that for sure. We went through her leaving, and I'm sorry. I know you want to talk about her again, but that part's over.
Heart emoji in her chat.
Ryudo accepts the escort mission, and he leaves with Elena in the morning. We go through a mountain path, which just another traversal. And
Yeah, pretty boring.
Then we arrive in Agear Town, and that's the end of the chunker.
Don't look back in anger.
Next
Time,
time,
she said.
next time we're going to defeat the Tongue of Valmar.
Wow,
That
that's
sounds
very
exciting.
specific.
I like it.
Oh, Johnny didn't tell us what he was squarely against. What do we think he's squarely against?
Misogyny?
No, he's not squarely
Oh,
against
you're
that.
right. That's me. He'll be squarely against that the bird is not a playable party member.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I bet he's roundly for the music that he doesn't quite remember.
Yeah, he definitely is. I played this game on my Switch in my living room while other activities were going on, so I did not hear any of the voice acting or the music in this chunker.
So what are you squarely against?
Misogyny. What are you squarely against, Matt?
What are you squarely against in this game?
In this game. Oh, in this game, I am squarely against Ryudo's misogyny. Matt, what are you squarely against?
I'm roundly for Ryudo's misogyny. I was very tired when I played this game, and I was bundled up in my bed, laying sideways on it so I could see my TV. So I was not in the most coherent state, even though I wasn't in like a Johnny-style incoherent state. I was just in an exhaustion state. But I remember I really liked the music. And, I know, I'm roundly for the combat so far. It's really good.
Yeah,
I'm glad
it's
that
fun.
it's an interesting combat system. It's quick and snappy, and that... My phone fell.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's quick and snappy, and that is, boy, that's like my number one thing in a JRPG is like, just let me get through this combat. Don't make it a bit like, not to drag the game again, but a good opposite example, Sea of Stars. Every combat scenario took fucking 30 minutes, and it drove me crazy. And this game is really nailing that quick hit of combat to make me feel satisfied with it and then move on. But if I have to be squarely against something, it'll be the terrible camera. How do you feel about this fucking garbage camera?
It didn't bug me as much as it's bugging you guys, and I'm not quite sure why. It is a terrible garbage camera. You can just kind of swing it left or right and look at, the environment in a 360 way. I think
It's just a
li-
circle around, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I think you could have made this game just as nicely with 2D environments rather than 3D. So, I don't love it. And I don't like when you enter a building and then when you exit it, the camera's in a different place. That's very disorienting.
Johnny was alluding to this a lot in his chat during this episode. I agree with him, or what I thought he was saying, which is that I find it really confusing when I'm trying to navigate the maps, which does end up in me getting kind of lost a lot on the map. Maybe Jim's little tip about the compass will help, though it doesn't really sound like it. Because I'm trying to do a lot of exploring. I want to find all the nooks and crannies. But it's hard because I'm never quite sure where I've been, where I'm going. And as you said, it would, I think, be a lot better, just not even 2D, just with a static camera. Don't need this. Doesn't add anything.
Yeah, I agree. And
We have a
Jim-
special guest that just
Jim
Hi.
is squarely against.
I'm on my phone hotspot.
Welcome back, Jim. What are you
Thank you.
squarely against?
I will say I am roundly for the combat. I think it's very easy to get a grip of, and it's really fun to understand the enemy's ability to cast stuff relative to your own. Enemies and even party members have different casting speeds of different types of spells that we'll get into later, which will affect when you want to cast stuff or when you want to cancel certain things. It's super fun. I will say that I think this is actually one of the best combat systems in an RPG that we've played on the show.
Yeah, I agree with you, but with like the caveat of so far. Like, I'm not far enough into this game to really wholeheartedly say that, but I am really digging it.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it gets worse. So that's what I am squarely against. Let's see here. Next, did you guys do next time on?
Yes.
Yeah, defeat the Tongue of Valmar.
Ooh, well then. Well then, Matt, how did you level up this week, buddy?
Oh man, Jim has continued his demands, and he made me watch the movie Heretic this week. And as Jim said, it's the best movie he's ever seen. I was a little iffy on it. I did overall enjoy it. I thought that what's his name? Hugh Grant, I thought did a great job being a creepy creep. And I thought that the movie did a great job setting that tone. I was thinking about it while I was watching it. Like, I don't know that I could make a movie like this. I mean, I know I couldn't make a movie, but I don't know that I could nail
Is
this
it a budget
particularly.
issue, or?
I don't know that I could nail this particularly because it's weird how you can watch, and this is not an intentional dig, Vanessa, but it's weird how you can watch something that tries to do this, like Longlegs, and fails at it, and then watch something like this, Heretic, that I think does nail that creepy atmosphere so well. And I'm not quite sure I can really articulate the difference.
I think if you want, and you didn't ask, but if you ever want to hear my opinion on that, I think Heretic nailed it because it's a product of not just the writing, but also like Hugh Grant and the cast and the production design and it all kind of added up.
I really wonder. I was thinking that how much of it has to do with the charisma of the actors that was a lot
of it in that one. Like they really like the whole third of that movie is like two Mormon missionaries trying to get Hugh Grant to convert to LDS. Like that's the whole first third of the movie. And like if that didn't work, the rest of it wasn't going to work. And so the fact that they got actors that were charismatic enough to really sell that in a way that you believe, I think is just really good casting.
Yeah, there's that great like creeping horror though. Like something is wrong the minute they get to that house, and it just ratchets up. Failing to speak, ratchets it up from there, but with nothing really happening.
One thing I love about that is like they keep the goalposts really small, but keep moving them, which is like Hugh Grant is a guy that is a man that answers the door with these two Mormon missionaries who are young women, and that's an inherently awkward situation. He's like, oh, my wife is just in the next room. And he keeps moving the goalposts on when his wife is going to show up. Like, she'll be here in a minute. She'll be here later. She's on her way. And like and the more you stretch that out, the more tense it becomes. And they just like played that really well.
I do wonder if, and this is a thought I had while I was watching it, I wonder if part of it is tied to like it's almost cringe comedy, right? Like it is one step removed from like an I think you should leave, where you're like cringing but laughing, and in this you're cringing but terrified.
It's a different kind of tension.
It's like about uncomfortableness.
And I think you should leave. Yeah, there's a weird uncomfortable, like socially uncomfortable tension, and in that one it's like a lay on your nerves kind of tension. It's just different. It's the same thing but like a different flavor of it, I think.
Anyway, I liked it. I think it was a little it didn't quite cross the goal line for me. I think it falls apart a bit. In fact, I don't even think it takes that long before you start to kind of want more from it. Like the midway point of the movie, and then the real climax of the movie, honestly, just kind of mostly did not work for me. And honestly, after all of the discussions we jokingly had on the show about it being a go-through maze, the fact that it was not much of a labyrinth was kind of a letdown for me. Like,
I'm surprised we haven't had more people say that to us because we've been calling it Go Through Maze for like the last year, and there's
it's not a maze.
maze
Yeah.
in that
It's not a maze
It's like
at all.
there's a couple of rooms in that movie.
Yeah, it's a couple of rooms. There were some good visual things. The thing with there's one shot towards the end with the girl running through the labyrinth, the quote unquote labyrinth.
Oh yeah, where it zooms out. That was a trailer shot, I think.
Yeah, it zooms out and you see his little model version of it, and I thought that was cool. But yeah, didn't love it. But you know what? Pretty good, worth a watch. 100% worth a watch. Heretic, unlike Long Legs, which I have tied together in my mind. But unlike Long Legs, Heretic, very well worth a watch. Like a decent horror movie, and you might like it more than I did. Whereas Long Legs, I thought was just fucking trash. Sorry, Julie.
I thought it was like a good length for a movie of that type, and was just satisfying enough. It felt like a good throwback to like weird offshoot 90s thriller movies, which I like.
I mean, I feel like there's a ton of that right now. Anyway,
But they're mostly terrible.
yeah, well, I mean, they were mostly terrible in the 90s, Jim. Speaking of, a little bit less relevant, but I did because Jim forced me to. He will not relent. He's making me watch these horror movies all the time. I watched the first few Final Destination movies. Those movies never clicked with me back in the day, and they still mostly don't. I don't get the appeal. Like, I get that the big set piece, like, death scenes are really fun, but then there's 2 hours of really shitty and
It's
boring
diminishing
plot wrapped around
returns
it.
after that. Yeah,
I mean, honestly, the first one I don't think it's good at all. There's no like the tension of like, how is this person gonna die, I think is good, but without like a driving force, I think it really loses something. I just kind of find it bland. Like, it's just a series of deaths with some really boring plot stuff in between. Obviously, Final Destination has the plane crash, which is kind of, they didn't know what they had there, because Final Destination 2 figures it out with that big car crash with the logs on the highway.
That scarred a whole generation of moviegoers. That logs through the windshield thing. Like,
Nobody
that
will drive behind one of those log trucks anymore.
That is like, to that movie's credit, one of the most iconic kills in any modern horror movie is the logs through the windshield.
And then the third one has the roller coaster, which is, I don't know, it doesn't work quite as much, but it is still pretty. Like, I did watch it and was like, I don't know that I want to ride any roller coasters after this.
I think the bridge one in 4 works better. It's like a little more.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I've seen that one. I just don't know that I want to keep watching these, because it is just kind of a series of grotesque deaths.
The bridge one, going back to the conversation we had earlier, was the 3D Final Destination. So there is, I think, a scene in that opening of the bridge collapse where a piece of rebar goes through the back of someone's head, and the eyeball comes out in 3D.
No way.
I noticed that 2 and 3 really ratchet up I've said that twice tonight, really ratchet up the deaths, the subsequent deaths, whereas the first one, it almost felt like weird Rube Goldberg machine deaths.
Yeah.
After that, it was just, it was, well, I think after that, they just kind of got worse and worse, where it was just like, yeah, like, the nail gun shoots her through the head. It gets too involved. Yeah. Anyway, but other than that, I haven't done a ton. I've been working a ton, but I did wrap up that Dungeon Crawler Carl series up to the current book. And I just wanted to say, as much as I really loved that series, by that 7th book, I was really burned out. Now, to be fair, reading 7 books in a row is a bit much.
That's a lot of books, yeah.
Yeah, and well, they kind of vary. Like, early on, they're like 350 to 500 pages, but then by the later books, we're looking at like 750 to 1,000 pages, and it got a bit much.
Holy fuck, man.
But also the last couple had some like real problems where was thinking about it. Like the early books are about the characters kind of going through this situation, and like it's very like relatable of like not relatable in real life, but relatable like video game wise, which is what it is supposed to be mocking of like they're going through this floor of the dungeon, and you know, this one's like a fantasy type world, and this one's like an industrial type world. And then the further it gets, like the 6th book has like a card combat system that they introduce just for that one book, but it's not really entertaining.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a drag. And then the 7th book was, which it's funny because the way, without getting into heavy spoilers for people, the way the books are set up, like you kind of know what's coming on these upcoming books on these upcoming floors. And we've known for a long time that this floor that is in the 7th book was going to be like a strategy game type thing. But the problem is when we finally got to it, it was mostly a drag. Like it was just kind of a snore. I had to really force myself through the first half of that book, and then it picked up, but and it had some good twists and turns at the end. The guy, I think, is a good writer. It has continued to evolve into just more and more insane stuff. Whereas the first book was, you know, the Earth gets not Ready Player One. It's what am I thinking of?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. It is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where the whole fucking world gets destroyed, and like the survivors are shoved off into this crazy video game style dungeon that is a reality TV show for the rest of the universe, but they're all in like mortal fucking danger, and millions of people die. And it's both like entertaining in that way, but also like really dark, where you're like, holy shit. It's a commentary on society, which is great and fine and good. But it also is really weird, and just more and more bizarre stuff happens, you know, like the guy has a cat. I've mentioned this. The guy has a cat, and then within the first book, the cat becomes sentient and becomes like his buddy, and that's great. And by the 7th book, he's got a severed sex doll head that's inhibited by a digital god that is floating around doing crazy shit, and there are just even more crazy things going on, and it's kind of gotten to be a little too much. Like it's still fun, and I like it, and I'm excited for the next book, which apparently isn't coming out until next year, but I am excited to see if he can. I kind of want him to dial it back a bit, but we'll see. You know, whatever. It is what it is. I did finally, and I'm sorry I'm going on for so long, but I did start a new book after I finished those. And it is called The Final Girl Support Group. Because I needed a big old break from science fiction and fantasy, so I decided to read some faux horror stuff. It's about a bunch of different women at this point in the book, that survived what are very much just our horror movies. One of them went through a Jason scenario, one went through a Halloween scenario, one went through a Texas Chainsaw Massacre scenario. And they're all in a support group together, and then things, of course, as books do, everything falls apart. I'm about halfway through it. I should be an adult and actually mention like who wrote the book.
But he can't.
Grady
he
Hendrix.
Can't. He doesn't know.
Great, yeah, I'm not great about that. Grady Hendrix, Final Girl Support Group. I am halfway through the book, and I am enjoying it. It's a good, fun time. It's a bit of a drag. Like, boy, I feel like every time I read something that's like modern and new, it's a real bummer. Is that a thing that I'm just picking up on today?
The modern new world is a real bummer, and people write what they know.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, but...
you are reading horror now, too, which is inherently a little...
I don't know that I would really call it horror, Jim.
But didn't
It's
you just
borderline.
say that
Like,
the
it's
Dungeon
being...
Dungeon Carl books are contemporary? The new one's coming out? And they're not sad.
I mean, but they are very grim. And like the early books were like grim but funny, and the later books are just getting grim. I like to call it the George R.R. Martinification of our books. Everything is goddamn grim these days. And what if I just want to have a good time? What if I just want to feel good? Is that wrong?
That's when you pick up the New Testament.
Oh boy. All right. Anyway, that's how I leveled up that Final Girl support group. I haven't finished it, so I'm kind of on the fence. I like it, but I don't love it. We'll see how I feel by the time I finish it. But that's enough from me. Jim.
I saw the movie Novocaine. Did I talk about that on the show yet? I don't think
you did.
No.
Saw Novocaine, which stars what's his name?
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid, thank you. He plays a bank manager who has a genetic disorder where he cannot feel pain, which they do go out of their way to explain how people who actually have this, it is kind of a very a tough disability to live with. But he's put into a situation where he can use that to his advantage, and it is a very good action comedy, a little gorier than I expected it to be, a lot of blood and a lot of gore in this movie, but I liked it quite a bit. It also stars Amber Midthunder, who was in the most recent Predator movie as the protagonist. It also stars the guy who plays Ned in the Disney Spider-Man films with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like him
he's
very
also
much.
in it. I think he's super funny. And so he was in that too. It was a really good movie. I liked it a lot. I've also been reading Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle, which is I think his biggest novel length story that he's published. Is really good. Some really funny / very descriptive cosmic horror stuff in it, which is really cool. Very kind of not overly meta to where you can see the author winking at you the whole time, but an appropriately meta story that deals with Hollywood and its relationship with horror and queer horror especially, which is really cool. And I've been reading Laird Barron's most recent story collection called Not a Speck of Light, I think it's called, which has a lot of really cool horror in it. A lot of good stuff there. And guys, I've been playing the shit out of Banishers.
That game looks fucking terrible, Jim, and I'm never playing it.
Banishers Ghost of New Eden. I'm not even kidding. One of my top 10 favorite games now. One of the most well-written...
Give me a break.
I'm not kidding. One of the most well-written...
I know you're not kidding, but I wish you could separate your fucking recency bias from...
I know. I can't. This is
fucking remember the name of this game in 6 months.
I will, because this is a game that I will definitely come back to. It is... it's super well-written. The love story at the core of the game is super moving. The game is about you're basically you start the game as a pair of exorcists, a Scottish man and a Haitian woman who are both exorcists, but they're partners, they're in a romantic relationship. And at the beginning of the game, she dies, he lives, and you can kind of alternate in the game between the Scottish man and the ghost of the Haitian woman. You can kind of... there's different combat mechanics and ways to view the environment depending on who you select. You can switch between them at any time. And the game really nails that difference between perspectives and combat, and it's so fluid and feels so good. And the love story between them is so believable and moving. And one of the mechanics of the game, there's an investigative aspect where you're supposed to kind of solve hauntings. The game takes place in the 1750s in colonial America, where you're talking to pilgrims in different settlements and stuff. And there's a lot of people being haunted by different things and like people from their past, and your job is to investigate these hauntings and figure out who's haunting them and why, and like who's responsible for the negative energy, and like unearthing different clues. And that is hands down the best part of the game, and there are a ton of these hauntings in the game that you can go and explore. It's a super fun game to play, and I'm having a blast playing it. Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, it's a good time. The game looks fucking fantastic, plays great, has a great soundtrack. Definitely check it out. Vanessa, how did you level up?
I saw Wicked and it was fine. All
Wow.
right.
Oh, did you
shit!
cry?
How dare you try to skate by this? We demand a full review.
All right. Well, I was familiar with the musical. It is not my particular cup of tea. I think it has a few strong songs.
You prefer
I
coffee.
think-
We understand.
Yeah, I prefer coffee. This musical is more of like a musical kind of musical, which is not really my jam.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Like a
It's not
very...
sung through.
No, that would be an opera.
That's not fucking. That's
It's
not.
very sort of traditionally structured, I would say. It opens with your, establishing world.
It does feel like the blueprint for a musical.
Yeah, it gives you the I Want song. It gives you the, romantic interest introduction, things like that.
Yeah.
So, and I tend to, Sondheim really is more my area. That kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, we know. Old-fashioned type stuff.
yeah, old-fashioned, old-timey stuff.
Quote-unquote classics.
Yeah. So I went in sort of knowing that it was already kind of starting on a back foot for me. I did read the Wicked book when it first came out, which I loved, but also
Ooh, me too.
That can be a problem with the musical because it changes so much from the book. And the elements of the book that I enjoyed, which is the really kind of heavily political and religious critique, kind of takes a backseat to the friendship story in the musical, which is fine. You can't put a whole book into a stage show, especially not one like Wicked with multiple branching ideas and themes, but, they did their best. I thought that, as far as a piece of film craft, it was very well done. I didn't have a problem with any of the cast, including Ariana Grande, who I have a completely
Your mortal enemy.
irrational and unfair dislike of. She has not done anything to earn my ire. I don't think I'd ever really seen her in anything before. So, yeah, she did fine. Everyone did a good job. I do think...
How did you feel about Ariana Grande's constant fucking tics?
I was worried that they would irritate me, but her performance is so sort of flighty and bird-like that I think that it sort of fit with what the character was doing.
I think it's if I can interject my own opinion into your level up.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a very energetic and very well, the word has escaped me. I had it in my head and now it's gone.
Good.
I think Ariana Grande was very well directed in that.
I think it's a
movie.
very.
I think
it's a very.
I think a lot of her.
endearing-
Oh yeah.
I think it's a very endearing take. Like she's very lovable, even though I think from the minute the movie starts, and I assume as much for the play, this broad ain't gonna be.
She ain't it. I do think
ain't it.
that it was a mistake to make it into two different movies, and I know I'm saying that not having seen the second movie because it's not out.
Oh, you're 100% right, though.
But
How do you feel about the fact that they padded it by an hour?
They padded it by an hour. They had essentially all of the first act songs some of which did not probably need to be immortalized on film. And
I remember, and again, I don't want to interrupt. I'm just trying to have a conversation with you, even though you're sleeping. I took my daughter to see it, and I definitely, I felt like I didn't hear a single song that clicked with me at all until I don't remember the name, but the Best Friends song, where they're like, Popular, that's the one.
Popular, yep.
Until Popular
How
hits,
do you not
which is
love that song?
2/3 of the
Like-
way into the movie. I was
Popular
like,
is my
these
favorite
songs
song
are
in the
so
musical.
bland.
Yeah. I'd say, Popular, good song, Defying Gravity, good belter song. I think that there is
God, that
one
is exactly
song
how my
in-
daughter described it. It's a good belter song.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that
Fucking theater kids.
there's one song in the second act called Wonderful that the wizard performs that I remember enjoying, but other than that, I can't think of any second act numbers that landed with me. So we'll see what they do. Probably make it 3 hours again, and maybe just have her do Defying Gravity again.
You know what? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna cry the whole time, just like I did the first time I saw
I'm
Wicked
sorry,
in
Jim. I'm
theaters.
sorry. that I'm killing
Jim,
you, darling.
you set me up so much when I went to see it that I was like, I'm gonna be fucking crying this whole time, because we typically have such similar opinions on these things, and instead this whole movie I was dry faced and was like,
Are you kidding?
I'm not
the
even
first
a little.
15 minutes, as soon as the opening music number started in that movie, I started to tear up, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna fucking cry this whole movie. And I did.
I will say I appreciated that just the it's not a generational. I don't want to the age difference of somebody that has seen so much stuff like this versus my daughter. 10 minutes into the movie, I was like, oh, spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't seen Wicked, I don't think it's text in Wicked, but I think it's pretty clear. So skip ahead if you're not sure. But the fact that the wizard is her dad, that seemed so crazy obvious to me. And I was talking to Haley about it afterwards, my daughter, listeners, and I blew her mind. She's like, wait, what? I was like, that was definitely Jeff Goldblum singing that song.
It was. All right. That's it for this episode of Square
Well,
Root.
Vanessa doesn't get to finish her level up.
Oh, do you have more?
No, I'm done.
All right, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you would like to hear more Square Roots content, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast. We like to let our patrons vote on the games we play on the show. The next game after Grandia II will be a vote game. So if you subscribe at the $3 level, you can hear all our bonus content. Subscribe at the $5 level, you get access to all that bonus content, plus the ability to vote on games that we play on the show. Another benefit of being a patron, no matter what tier you subscribe at, we like to personally thank some of our patrons on the air. I'm going to kick us off this week by thanking Ryan Schmidt, Nick, Rubber Bear, Ron, Seattle Sounders will host Paris and Madrid in Club World Cup. Sonic's Chronic Tonic Colonic, Florin Jonas Kramer, Huxley Iguana, Angel, and Andy Smith.
I'd like to thank Jaybird, Rachel, Tyler. Vanessa's mom is also a Hulk. Gigantified Micro Space Hamster. Cyril the Wolf. For the Square Roots Podcast, I'm Stim Stanks. I'm Chris Parsons, RP Siege, and Butcher Pete's Sharp Salami.
I'd like to thank Eric Garby, Wash in the Wind, Justin Ham, Lex Averial, Isaac Wright, Sora's Key Bump Blade, Amanda Piers, Ian Frederick, Matt Jorgensen, Aaron Vanessa versus the Empire Brain Building Little, Ryan Militant Decency, Edarul, and Andy Best.
All right, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email to have read on the air, or if you want an invite to our Discord, email us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group. It's called the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or find us on Blue Sky at squarerootspod.bsky.social. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
Check out the Discord.
Yeah,
you kind of have
Discord
to
is
send us an
poppin'.
email if you want to talk to us there, because we're not going to post a link in the show notes because we don't want to get killed with bots. But
It's there if you want it.
Yep.
All right. For Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Stimstank.
And I'm Vanessa.
Goodbye.
Bye.